that's so exciting, and it's so amazingly attractive.
Yeah, you're not laughing now, are you?
No, we're not. Although we sort of are. Why am I so small? Can you see that? No, that one. Hang on. There. All right, there. Is Packer in? Has anyone seen Packer? Sunday afternoon, probably done a boozer. Packer, let me know if you're here. Cranky Lockpicker from my other channel, my lockpicking channel, has become a member. Nice to have you on board. People, give Cranky a lovely Scrubs welcome. He's got his own lockpicking channel, Cranky Lockpicker, and it's quite funny actually. He's got quite a sort of I don't think he had a question. It's sort of quite an effeminate voice, and it's northern. And in his bio, it says, if you want to watch a slightly effeminate and northern accented bloke picking locks, then this is a channel for you. It's like, fair play, just have it. Anglo is on the firm. Sensum is voting Labour. It's all very interesting. When hello Anglo, by the way, why did you come up today? I was telling a mate about you. It was Mumford. I was talking to Mumford about it. I can't for the life of me remember why. But Cranky has absolutely got the grift rolling with a membership. I'll tell you now, give you a chance to... The perks are so exclusive. If you see one, let me know. Right. I don't think he's here. Don't worry, people. I can do it alone. Bastard. I bet he's taking his kid out or looking after his family or something ridiculous like that. Why, thank you, Pags. I see you leaving a comment on one of my lockpicking shorts. That was very kind of you as well, Pags. All that kind of stuff. Mrs. Me in it. Hello, love. She's in. JP's in. We need to sort an email out, don't we, John? We'll get that done, though. Ludwig's in. I'll just get some hellos in. I'll tell you what. It's what time is it over there? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Sunday. To have 80 people in this early of the stream, people are into this. And look, this is all relatively new to me because I'm more interested in culture than I am politics. I think culture is the weapon. Politics is just the way you arrange the use of those weapons. You know, without culture, politics has got no power. And I truly believe that. You know, culture is the big guns. Politics is conversation and debate, which is necessary, without a doubt, because without that, you get war. And war is humanity at its least efficient. I think that might even be a quote by Karl Marx, but, you know, don't shoot the messenger. It makes sense. What a horrible, vile, unnecessary, and just the idea of people just murdering each other and all the rape and torture and, you know, generations ruined by war. I've said this thousands of times, but there was that moment in the Second World War. Read the book if you're interested in this sort of stuff. It's by French writer Paul Virilio. Weirdly written out, it sounds Virilio. You know, Google will correct it for you like it always does. Really smug, isn't it? Did you mean Virilio? Did you see yourself in a description glass? By the way, if you've noticed the descriptions are a bit what? I just get ChatGPT to do it. It's lovely. Optimize a description. This is what I tell ChatGPT. Point 4. I say optimize a description of keywords. No. Write a sentence separated by commas of keywords optimized for a YouTube video description. Because it knows it's not just a list of words. Then it knows it's a YouTube description. So ChatGPT will look through its data set and not just go to YouTube descriptions, but go to articles about them. This is why large language models are mind blowing. It will go to, oh, nice super chat. I'll pick that up in a minute. I'm just doing a bit of gibber while a few more people turn up. We're nearly on 100 already, though. It will go to articles, and the ChatGPT data set is massive, like a zillion encyclopedias squared, and it will go through all these articles and find out what makes a good YouTube description, what is optimized. And I said I'm going to do a stream about an election. So blah, 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 blah. I also added a few things myself. I mean, ChatGPT, not to its credit, didn't put Emma Glass in. That was that was done by my own hand. I done Emma Glass, is what I'm saying. Right, Brian Ravenscroft, voting reform, protest if nothing else. Interesting. So I'm going to give you my bit. It's a call-in show. So we'll get on, and I promise, because I know I always gab for about an hour, and I've done it early because Rags is streaming later. Don't forget Rags is streaming later, and I didn't want to do a stream that ended just before he started because you'll be all streamed out. But those numbers are ridiculous for a Sunday afternoon, and it's because I think, Brian, thanks for that Ayrton Senna, mate. Much appreciated. It's a double bubble at the moment, so lovely. And thanks to you as well, Cranks. Lovely to have you over here. I don't know if it'd be your cup of tea. You've been here before, though, haven't you? I'm going to give you my little take, and it is a little take. I'm expecting 120 people in now. I mean, this is what I mean. 130 now. There's no iconoclast to get me people. Oh, I spoke to Hugh today, people, for about an hour and a half. It was lovely, actually. Hugh is not in the internet world, so literally nothing I can share or would, because it was a private conversation. But I can report that he's doing really well. He's looking really good. And yeah, Hugh, lovely Hugh. I'll give you my little take. And it's a little take. It's not a hot take. It's not a cold take. But it is quite a white pill take. And then people can just come on and throw their tuppence worth in. Look at this. People are absolutely grifting it up like beagles. Andy Mack, I just popped in to pop out off to the pub and football. I don't remind people of the footy. Who's playing tonight? It's Germany, Switzerland, isn't it? What time's kickoff? Can someone tell me what time's kickoff? I might have it on. I'll put it on my other monitor. You'll be telling me. I'll be like, right. Oh, shit. Kai Havertz scored a hat-trick, didn't he? Kai Havertz, waka, 60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again. What a story that is. But not for people who came here for the politics and not the football. Although let's not pretend there's not politics in football. They're still kneeling. They're still doing it. It's rotten. I've seen Arsenal players wearing armbands saying visit Rwanda. For about 10 years now they've been doing that. It's like, why? And I would say, I can't be sure, but I'm going to guess, right? I'm going to guess that that's not a Rwandan tourist board sponsor, would be my guess. Because how do you distribute the cash? I'm going to visit Rwanda because the Arsenal players have got it on them. Well, what airline you're going to get? Where you're going to stay? Where you're going to, my guess is it's a political thing. It's just, oh, come on, let's try and get people to go to Africa because America had a war to stop slavery, even though every civilization has engaged in slavery, and there's still slavery going on the planet at the moment. And we had a World Cup, funnily enough, in a country that had slaves build the stadiums, and some died. Yeah, but visit Rwanda. It's really weird. The best one was the Polish one. Did you see it when, I think it was Leicester, some cup team all knelt down, and the Polish, I think they're the ultras, behind the goal, as soon as the opposition knelt down, as if the Polish are going to do that, they unfurled a banner. Now this banner was the full length of like that end of the rectangle that is a football pitch, which is what, acre and a half, 2 acres, something like that. So that length, it was huge. And as soon as the opposition knelt down, this massive, it covered the whole end. It unfurled, and it had a picture of, I can't remember his name, but it's a very famous Polish king that the Polish people really love, like this historical figure. And in Polish, it said something like, bow to the King blah, 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 Skargaba of Poland. So when all the British players are on their knees, it's got this picture of this king and bow to our king. Amazing. Right. Let's get into this. Nice one, Andy. Have a nice evening. That's lovely of you to come in and drop a grift and then go to the boozer. Wonderful. I mean, I wouldn't want everyone to do it though, because the money would be nice, but I'll be sitting here talking to myself. And it's about a fair balance. I mean, if half of you wanted to, leave some money and fuck off, look at that, 160 people. And this is why I've done this. I think this is going to be very big. I think an event is about to happen. It's not going to be cataclysmic for sure. But if you're here, if you're a scrub, I know most of you because we've been doing this for nearly a decade now. I can't believe it. We have had a few deaths on the way, admittedly. A few deaths. Have we had any fights? Wolfie slapped me in the forehead once. I think that's the nearest we've come to actual fights. But the Telegraph, I'm not going to bother getting it up. Steady. The Telegraph said, here are 7 seats that Reform might win, and they listed 7 random seats as some apprentice journalist was told to do something about Reform. And when they went, what do you want me to say about them? They went, well, just look at some Nigel Farage articles from The Guardian and say they're shit and that. And he went, oh, all right then, predictable stuff. The Guardian reckon it's 3. The Guardian, same article, just different number. No, here's 3 seats, and it's quite weird. I'm not going to read it, but it's like, they're the sort of, how would you explain it? They don't outright say it because they've got no balls, The Guardian, but they do really make it quite clear that they reckon these seats will win because they're gammons, because they're racist old white people who can't move with the times. That's the implication. It could never be that they could that a different political party could. Compared, we all slag off China. It's a one-party state. It's the CCP. Well, England's been a 2-party state all my life. That's only one more. That's only one more. I mean, that isn't far off from the CCCP. And certainly in my, when I started getting involved in politics, I've just seen the left and right just sort of become one, which is on the left, of course. And what conservatives, I mean, I don't need to go over all this, and I will stop in a moment, but I just want to give you my take. We've all known, the people who regularly come here, I'm talking about anyway, and maybe a lot of you are those people, that it's always been about when's the population of England or Britain, the UK. There's so many weird names, isn't it? It's like Holland, the Netherlands, Dutch. I love language, but I just don't understand it. When are they going to do something? When are they going to stick their head above the parapet? And, we'd be saying things like, you've got people like PA who've been trying to do something. There was national action, and whatever you think about them, they were made illegal, they were banned, but they stuck their head above the parapet. You've got all different people who've, tried different things. And it's always been about the man in the street. And, obviously that's an idiom, and you know what I mean. It's not only men that vote, unfortunately. Not joking. Give us a second. And I think what most people know, certainly people on the right, have assumed, at least anyway, that the majority, a large majority of the population thinks pretty much like your regular nationalist. Immigration's completely out of control. You can't have open borders and welfare. You can't do it. You can't put 5 sweets in a pot and then expect 100 people to be able to eat them. It just, and it's been going on for so long, and everything, all public services are at breaking strain. I'll say this now, I've always paid my taxes, my national insurance. It's just a fundamental thing you have to do. I don't think there'll be money left for pensions. I'm serious. I think there'll be some kind of blag, like it will be food banks, but they won't call them that because of obviously the pejorative sort of history that has got with it. There'll be like pension centres, and you go along and they'll try and spruce them up a bit. They won't be like in a church basement or anything. They'll spend more taxpayers' money on it. Yeah, taxation from the Conservatives, who we've had for the last 10 years, is it? It's just putting public money into private pockets. So they'll have that when they've run out of money for pensions because they've been getting hotels and mobile phones and that for illegal and legal immigration. There'll be things like those centres where you get food, and you'll get a voucher that you can only spend in a government shop for clothes and things. That I really see that. I just, economics, you can have as much propaganda as you want. You can want things to work as much as you want, but there does come a time when people stop working because they're being taxed too much. There comes a time where you're spending too much and there's not enough people contributing, and so you put your hand in the pocket, but it has actually all gone now. And so and I'd suggest we're actually well past that. If you haven't had a look at the a silly question, actually, give me a 1 in the chat if you've had a look at the Reform UK manifesto and/or website. Loads of OG scrubs in. Lovely to see you. Because this is where people such as myself, who've said that the majority of people in England, the UK, they just don't want to say things because of things like hate speech laws, because of things like losing their jobs, losing their friends, losing family members. I had all that. People stopped talking to me. I was in the Sunday Times being accused of grooming children to be Nazis. I mean, and then I had the Nazis telling me that I had sex with dogs because I used to be a comedian and told a joke about that. And I was in between thinking, But, you know, the likes of the Iconoclast, the likes of Hugh, the likes of Sargon, all the little channels, even my lowly little part of the internet who 6 years ago put our heads above the parapet. People like you lot come in, supported channels. I mean by coming in and being an audience, posted links, put things on social media, got banned, this happened, and now it's mainstream. Now it's mainstream. So many people have looked at it. Amazing. Hello, Anglo. Politics. Apparently, youngsters are more inclined to go left. I understand this. Apart from growing dreadlocks and being a full-blown commie, why am I here? I think youngsters they've been through state education. You know, it's a feminized leftist camp. You know, it's an education camp. That's what state schooling is. It was always about making workers, and now it's making workers who are also, they now not only do they work as in a trade, but they also work for the propaganda orthodoxy. But not all youngsters go to universities or go to schools. A lot of youngsters finish school and they're the ones who walk into the real world. I want to rent a flat. Yeah, no worries. We can show you around some. Oh, I like this one. Okay, no problem. It's 700 a month. What? 700? It's like a room and a bathroom. Yeah, 700 with 2 months deposit up front, and I need 3 references from previous landlords. Yeah, but I've just left home. All right then, can you get references from school? No, they hated me. Yeah, you're not going to come in here. And then, you know, that real world hits you pretty hard. No one can see the future, but I'm going to suggest that this could be quite remarkable. I think Reform have got 609, is it, or 602 candidates standing. I think the electorate might surprise the media, might surprise the Guardian, might surprise the BBC. There you go. Anglo, thanks for that Ayrton Senna, much appreciated, always appreciated. I didn't understand it really, but maybe other people did. Right, I take it Packer's not here. If anyone sees Packer turn up, yes, Glass. I think the tide turned years ago, but now there's an option. Now you can go, hello, mate. It's amazing that you're back on the firm. It really is. It really is. Great stuff. Now it's not a question of, you know, being interviewed in the street for the BBC. It's not a question of, you know, being a street barbecue and going, oh no, I think it. Now it's going into a room, shutting the door behind you. In the American elections when Trump won, you know, the polling, it was like, I think when the New York Times said that Hillary's 98% chance of winning about an hour before midnight or something ridiculous, because people don't want to say it. They don't want to, you know, there's so much pressure. There's so much propaganda. There's so much we're watching you. There's so much, what do we call it? Panopticism, where we survey ourselves. But now, the old English in that little room, I don't want those crazy Marxists. That's Labour gone. I don't want those crazy Marxists. That's Conservative gone. Oh, here we go. Vote. I think we might be up for something quite exciting. I think Le Pen wins France. We had Melania win Italy. I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, but she's softened up. That's what you do, though. You can't. That's politics. Your manifesto is to get people going, but the reality of politics doesn't let you do that. Geert Wilders still struggling to make a government in Holland. Apparently, I can't remember who they are. I mean, my English politics ain't great, but my Dutch isn't any better. But there's some democratic centrists or something who've agreed to form a government with him. You know, if Trump wins, which surely he's got to. I mean, what did Stalin say? It's not who. It's not what's ticked on the ballot. It's who counts them, and that is the problem with America. But what Argentina, of course, what an amazing global move to the right. I mean, the Overton window obviously comes with it and preceded it, strangely enough, almost like you're in a hall of mirrors. But AfD in Germany, I mean, you'd never thought that of Germany. They've been so guilted out of their own ability to make political choices. In 30 years, Germany will be minority Germany, and that's a good thing. Yeah, it turns out the Germans didn't want that. So that's interesting. In Sweden, I think Sweden's sacking off people who've broken the law. If you're an immigrant and you've broken the law, bye. That's in the Reform UK Manifesto. I was a little bit disappointed that they're not doing it deliberately. So they are serving their time. I don't think we should pay for that. You've broken the law. You go to court. If you're found guilty, usually you'd have your bags packed to go down into remand or whatever. No, airport. And we'll take your phone off you and any money we find in any bank accounts you've got to pay for the flights and to process you through court, which we've already paid for. Because that's our money. I pay English taxes. You know, go. You come here, we let you here, we treated you very well, and you killed someone, or you broke the laws of the land. It's time. You have to go now. I don't think that people should. I don't think we should pay for them. It costs something stupid like $100,000 a year to keep a prisoner. No, man, that could be spent on English prisoners. But weirdly, it could. Maybe a bit of rehabilitation. Civil Defence UK. Hello, you're obviously new here. Oh, no, there you go. First time I've caught a live in nearly 3 years. Chris, you're looking well. I think Google unsubbed me. I'm back. Well, thank you, Civil Defence. What I do, if I can get the right angle, let me just get my chair up a bit. I can look really well, look. Yeah, boy, but it really hurts. So I don't, I sort of stoop over. Nice one, Civil. Was that always your name? I'm sorry I didn't remember, but 3 years is a long time on YouTube. 2 or 3 streams a week. Right, that's enough of my chat. Thank you, everyone, for those super chats. You can use that one as well. That's Buy Me a Coffee. They take least money off of their cut is the least. If you just put your phone camera over it, a little link will come up. And obviously, you've got Entropy at the top of the chat, super chat at the bottom. There you go. Let's get someone in. Let's see if someone's got something to say about this. I will get the link. There's the link. I am going to go and get a bowl of Angel Delight out of the... I've just put the link in the chat. It will be one person at a time, unfortunately, because that's my girlfriend. Hang on. Oh, hey, that's nearly my bar. Hello, love. Hello. Oh. Hello, darling. Darling, I'm doing YouTube. Are you going to sleep, or I'll talk to you later?
Can call me later.
All right, darling. Love you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. She's had half a pint of beer. I put the well, you know, the mad thing. I've put the link in. If I'll put it in again, if anyone wants to come in and just, you know, it's not for like a 30-minute chat. Just come in, say your bit, and then, you know, I'll ask you a couple of questions, maybe have a little chat, couple of minutes, and then someone else can come in. You know, the main thing is that's how it should be. Hello, youngster.
Hello. Oh, let me see. It's working. Hello.
Are you allowed to talk about politics?
Am I allowed to talk about politics? I'd like to think so. Can you talk again? Quick audio check.
1 2 1 2. This is a voice check. 1 2 1 2.
All good. I'm allowed to talk about politics.
So, Barclay, am I going to call you Kai? Have I got to do that?
You can call me
You're
Kai.
always going to be Barclay around here. A few weeks ago, I said I think one of the problems with the right in the UK is we don't focus on what we've got in common. We focus on our differences, and that has meant it's just been there's loads of little parties. And I kind of feel like, you know, I know that Reform UK, I know that this one of my mates thinks this is a rubbish idea. This bloke thinks that's a rubbish idea. This bloke,
Yeah.
But as a first step, as a change in the direction of the political wind, I think it is quite promising.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think we're going to at least see a couple seats in Reform. We're going to get quite a large level of votes. They're not going to get more seats from the Tories. Let's be realistic, because a lot of Reform's support base, it's spread out over a wider area, and Tory places can be concentrated. Well, if they do, shock the world, but they're not going to get more than 10 seats. Maybe I don't know.
Do you think so?
I don't think they're going to get more seats. No, UKIP had about 4 million votes.
No. I mean, I don't think they'll get more than the Conservatives. Although the Conservatives have failed everyone. You know, traditionally they look after the rich, and even the rich have been fucked by the Conservatives because, sorry, you should be talking, not me. Go on.
Well, I was going to say that in regards to my local area, I've met more people who said they're going to be voting for them than anything else.
There you go.
That is Norwich. I think the likelihood of that being the case, obviously, I'm speaking to different groups of people. I'm speaking to taxi drivers and stuff like that. All the white ones have been doing it for quite a while. They're all very right wing. I think even if they don't get a significant level of power, they're definitely going to get a few seats. And they're going to start making the establishment shit themselves, especially because no one's going to trust the Tories anymore. They're a complete joke. Nigel Farage, in every single interview that he's done, he's been absolutely killing it. In all the debates that he's had, he's been absolutely killing it. There's been so many good clips of him mugging off Labour, Tories, journalists in general. I watched a recent Good Morning Britain interview with him, and the interviewers just seem so snidey and scummy. Anyone who thinks that they're being honest, you just have to be thick as anything, thick as a brick.
Yeah, they don't want a conversation with him. They want to smear him or make him make a fool of himself. Farage is a weird character though, because weirdly he's a right-wing politician, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's not celebrity.
Oh, he's a celebrity in a sense.
Yeah, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But
cultural icon.
Yeah, that'll kind of do. Who's actually managed? He still gets invited on things like This Morning, or daytime telly over all these years, and I think he might have played quite a hand here, really, because
he was instrumental in Brexit.
Yeah, well, he's Mr. Brexit, isn't he? And I think the majority of certainly ethnic English people are going to look at that reform. For entrepreneurs, they're talking about taking the corporation tax rate down to 15% in a few years. First, it's going to go down to 20, then down to 15. And, you know, the Tories have made being an entrepreneur in the UK a fucking nightmare. And there's a point where people don't take risks with their money. They move. They go somewhere where it's cheaper, where the tax rates are better, and that's how a country's economy starts going down the pan. And you know, in their manifesto, they don't call it a manifesto, do they?
The contract.
There you go, a bit of Rousseauian stuff on the go there.
He's being bold. He's being different on that. Good Morning Britain, which is just total crap. They're trying to say to him, like, so you're going to raise the personal allowance limit to 20,000.
Right, hang on, stop. Let me just explain to people what that is for people who don't know. So when you earn money, you can earn at the moment, I think it's about 11 grand.
12,570, and then after that it's taxed 20%.
Right. So you can earn up to 12.5 grand tax free, which is rubbish. It's rubbish.
That's not an apprentice wage of the minimum wage when you're 16 and stuff like that.
And in their contract, it's going up to 20,000, is it?
Yep.
So just short of doubling what you can earn before you start paying tax. I mean,
and reasonably, that like for me, for my job, that I would get to keep most of my money. And if you earn less than that, you keep all your money. Like, that's life-changing amounts, that is. And what they were trying to sound good one Brit is, well, actually, when you look at the numbers, Nigel, this is going to benefit people who are making 95,000 most. He's like, no, it's going to benefit for people who are making the least the most, because they are going to be able to keep their money and have a living wage. And yeah, they just keep playing all these like, well, actually, the numbers say this. And it's just like, if anyone's listening to that and you're going to keep all your money earned before 20,000, we will not tax it, and thinks, oh, like, especially considering most people watch you will be earning around that amount, who the fuck are they going to win over? Who are they convincing? Oh, I don't want more money, because when you raise the tax bracket, people in high, it's got a knock-on effect. That's the reality of raising tax.
But there's this mad sort of anti-rich thing that's been sort of, you know, it's been drilled into the brains of the working class English. But your nation needs rich people because they employ people, they export goods, they bring money into the country, and it helps the nation. And to all that corporation tax stuff, they're trying to simplify the higher tax rates as well. I don't know if it's actually in the contract, but the British tax, I can't remember what it's called. It's 21,000 pages. So if you want to understand it, I mean, it's what a read.
You know, a PhD in tax, it's just who would bother? As well, red tape has been absolutely holding back the UK from having any sort of infrastructure progress. I can't remember what it is. I think there's some sort of tunnel that's what's been built. It's taken over a decade, I believe. It's cost about 30 billion, and so far all they've done is generate about 300,000 documents in regards to regulations. I've been watching Clarkson's Farm recently, and he does go through a lot of red tape BS. And it's like, well, no wonder people are packing up farming and just selling up the land, because they can't do anything. Like, I think they've now made it so you have to live in a property for like 10 years before you can have sort of like have a right to do anything you want on your land without the council having to come after you. It's ridiculous.
It's one of the things that I've obviously noticed out here. And for people who don't know, I live in Cambodia, and people think it's a third world country, and in a way it is, but there's parts of Phnom Penh that you'd confuse with Malaysia, Singapore, Tokyo. You know, it's not a rundown Pol Pot kind of affair anymore. And you can just do something. You know, there's no welfare here, which I think is a good thing. I think welfare is up there with alcohol and feminism as part of and immigration as part of the destruction of the West. And people have to generate wealth. But it's very hard to you see it on English TV all the time when people go, well, there's no jobs, is there? There's no jobs. And initially I got a bit pissed off with that kind of approach, because I'd be, all right, well, go and make one. You can't rely on an employer, but there's so much red tape, there's so much bureaucracy. Out here, you can just put up a stall. If you can find the space, you can do it, and you can start making money. If you've got a product, you can do it, and they're not on you immediately. You can't do that. You haven't got a B789/281 form. You haven't done this course. You haven't done that course. And all that bullshit as well. It drives me absolutely nuts. So yeah,
sorry.
So no, you don't need to apologise. I interrupted you, but I just want to go back. So your friends or the people you've been talking to,
strangers,
is this quite hot on people? Is this quite a hot topic, or are you bringing it up, or what? I want to sort of get a.
Well, I went to the Homelands Party camp recently, and on the taxiway there, he was an old white guy. He's been a taxi driver for a long time, so I just knew he was right wing anyway. So I started talking to him about it. I asked him who he was voting for. He was like, I'm voting for the only the only real option, reform. And I was like, yeah, good man, so am I. I don't completely align with him. I'm still going to vote for him.
I think this could be quite a change. And then once, that's what you need. You only need to get that ball rolling. Yeah, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. The only party that's perfect is the one that you invent, because you invented it. But it's a fuck lot better than the options, and it's radically different from what we've had offered for the last God knows how many decades.
It's so much better. And as well, let's face it, things aren't going to get any better under a Labour government. Things have gotten drastically worse in this country the past 14 years of Tory rule. Labour are only going to make it worse in different ways. If they start going on about war, Nigel Farage is definitely going to take an anti-war platform, and he's going to get a huge amount of support for it. No one wants to fight for this country. This country hasn't fought for us in the whole time I've been alive. I'm not fighting for it. I'm against imperialism. I don't care about NATO. I don't want to be involved. And you'll find people on the right wing don't care, other than like people on the centre row, like British people. Oh yeah, we got to go protect. Oh, that fucking Putin, he's a twat. All that nonsense. Yeah, they might support it, but I guarantee, like the younger generation, then it's not going to happen. Do we think we're going to be able to get the Muslim population to fight in Israel against Palestine? No, that's not happening. I am no geopolitist, no geopolitical pundit. I will tell you that is not happening.
Yeah,
they will leave the country so fast, and if they are allowed to stay in the country after refusing to fight, well, now you've got a whole generation of men who've just gone to war for something they didn't believe in. They've been put through horrific training. They've seen their friends killed by drones, and now there's like videos of it on Telegram. Do you think they're going to be okay with the fact that people left the country and came back after? You're going to make the whole population take an incredible swerve to the right, like it's never seen before, probably.
I used to live next to two Muslims, John, good Muslim name, and Biko in Soho, and they both left their Muslim countries because they had to go to war. They were being sent to war, so they got the fuck out of there. I mean, I can't even. How can you have a multicultural society and a national military?
It's just not going to
work. How can it? How can it?
As well, we live in such an age of information where anyone can find people. I think young people are more political than ever because they're exposed to so much information. Because people aren't going to be so easily brought in by what the mainstream press is saying. Yeah, they're going to have more radical ideas about being anti-war because so many people are going to have the idea. I think the West has been pushing Russia to this point, which I've not been super interested in the war with Russia. But as far as I'm aware, that is what's happening. And knowing what the West has done to other countries, I fully believe that. I don't want to fight for it. I don't care. I don't want to fight for Israel. I don't want to fight for Ukraine. I don't care about either. I don't want these countries to be in war. I don't care. Israel, I can quite easily see why they're in war with Gaza. And I don't agree with what they've done whatsoever. They've killed children, massacred them, in fact, maliciously. There's been whistleblowers from the IDF from years ago saying how they were, I'm a whistleblower from the IDF. Here's me with like actual evidence. They're going to blow up this hospital. It's just full of like children. It's not a Hamas base. So they did it. I'm not fighting for that country.
Yeah, but I'm not fighting for that country either. But I'm not going on the word of one bloke. It's just I'm a bit too old for that, and I don't support war.
It's pretty.
They are also talking about raising the VAT threshold to 150 grand. At the moment, I think it's about 60 or 70. It was 60 when I started. So that means when you start a business, you don't have to charge VAT on your products until it used to be, like I say, when I started, 60,000. And that's good because you haven't got a lot of money when you're starting from scratch. So you've got a little bit of a head start's the wrong word. What's the word I'm after, Barclay? It just, bigger corporations have to charge an extra 20% on top of everything. It might be 25. No, that's corporation tax. So they're going to move that to 150 grand, inspiring more people to be entrepreneurs and start businesses. Just all these little subtle things in there as well as the obvious immigration stuff. And also, like, it's the stuff about the police. Listen to this. This is in an actual political party's contract. It says it. And, even a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe you just wouldn't have believed it. It says here, common sense policing, not woke policing. Third line, scrap all diversity, equality, and inclusion roles. Just fuck it off. Good.
Wow, imagine. Well, they're doing all these tax cuts, and now they're going to save money. That's good thinking. Get rid of nonsense. There you go. Now you don't need to worry about raising the tax bracket. What was it going to cost? Like 50 billion from raising the income tax threshold?
The whole thing's a grift, isn't it? You've got these people that companies now have to employ. By law, a certain size business, you have to get a DEI, what do they call it, consultant in. And these people are on like 250 grand a year. And all they do is walk around going, why?
Like a Dalek.
Yeah. So, lovely. Get rid of that. More bobbies on the beat. I don't really buy that. I think that's appealing to people's. I mean, I'd have more armed bobbies on the beat. I'd like to arm the British police. I think it's pathetic that at best they've got those tasers. Nah, man, give them an MP3 straight away. I grew up in London. No one's scared of them. The kids are better armed than the police. You've got an imbalance there. I've seen people just fight them. Just go up to them and start pushing the police around. Stop! I'll spray you.
I think the only issue with that is that the current culture of police officers, the type of people it's attracted, it's not highly moral people. It's managerial arseholes who get off in the control, and they enjoy the power. If you I've seen crime bodge back to front. I know obviously not every police officer is like that, but I've had some pretty snarky, abusive police officers.
Of course.
And the police needs reformation itself.
What about that fella outside 10 Downing Street who got down on his knees? I just thought, wow. Now listen, this country, I've got to be careful because I'm a guest here. I am a second-class citizen here, like I should be. If that was to change, I'd probably leave because that would be a sign of the country going down the pan. I am a second-class citizen here. This ain't my country. I didn't.
You probably get treated better than British people do in Britain. So there you go.
But it says
better being second class than sixth class.
They when there's an event on, like the boat races down the Mekong and that, they get the fully armed old Bill out and they all stand there with their automatic weapons and they look quite frightening. But you can go up to them, put your arm around them, and people do. I asked my missus, she said, yeah, and get a photo with them. Because when I first see them, because you don't see a lot of police around. Why? They don't need them. They've got communities. And if the communities police things, if your community sees you nicking things, not working, not doing your bit, you get ostracized, and then you're on your own. You know, in the over 6 years I've been here, apart from about 20 traffic police, I think I've seen... No, I haven't seen any, like normal police. I've seen the ones I'm talking about that protect events and that. But when I first saw them, there was like 5 of them standing in line with their weaponry and all their fucking... You know, they look like some geezers off computer games. I'm so old. They look like geezers from computer games. But I said to my missus, I said, fucking hell, look at those. They're a bit tooled up. And she went, no. She went, good. She went, good. Look after us. And I thought, wow, what an amazing difference. Yeah. No, I'm not saying they do. And again, I have to be careful. And there have, but, you know, you can look on the internet and, you know, I'm not.
There's always the occasional bad egg.
That point just made me think, wow, you know, she respects them. She sees them as being there to protect her. And when I've ever seen the old Bill, and admittedly in my younger years, I had reason to fear them. But when I see him, I just think that you know, what's the chances that I'll be the one pulled out and they'll stick something on me just for numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. You always see in like any video of like police getting caught out acting like idiots. There's like the classic really aggressive mid sort of young man. There'll be like some 4 foot -7 woman who's blonde, like looks like she's an Essex Stani, like covered head to toe makeup, being really rude and vulgar and antagonistic. I did last time I was in an interview room. There was this one blonde police officer, this lady. Man, she was not happy with me saying no comment to everything. She was fuming. She was acting so unprofessional. And then meanwhile, you had like this proper, clearly had been a detective for a long time. She was just perfectly calm. It was a very weird scenario.
The thing is, though, I think if you want to be a copper, you've got to be minimum 6'2". I think that should be a basic entry requirement, 6'2". Because when you've got people climbing through your window, even though they're going to take half hour to arrive because they're busy nicking for someone for something they tweeted, when that 3'2" little bowling ball rocks up, you know, it's like, come on. I'd have been better off using the phone I called you on as a weapon. Yeah, listen to some of these things. Critical reforms. This is education. In the first 100 days, a patriotic curriculum in primary and secondary schools. Any teaching about a period or example of British or European imperialism or slavery must be paired with the teaching of a non-European occurrence of the same. Amazing. Our children must be taught about their heritage. Number 2, well, it's not numbered, but anyway, the next bit. Ban transgender ideology in primary and secondary schools. No gender questioning, social transitioning or pronoun swapping. Inform parents of under 16s about their children's life decisions. Schools must have single-sex facilities. Just bosh. Just get rid of all that nonsense. It's bullshit. Now, if you want to, if your life is about your gender identity, which is a sort of an encrypted way of saying you like talking about your sex life to children, just fucking do it in private where there's no children around it, you know. But I didn't even know my teachers' first names. When I was at school, you didn't know their first names. It was Mr. Pay, it was Mrs. Chadwick. And these days, kids know what hole their teacher likes to put their fake or real penis in. It's absurd. And we just sort of take that, oh, well, you know, it's normal. It fucking isn't. 4-year-olds should not know what sexual preferences their teachers got.
It's being put into their minds far too young. And I think it's one of those things where if they have a concept of things like that early on, it's just gonna just gonna put it in their head. Or like anytime they have like any sort of weird mental health crisis, if they've been told, oh, if you're feeling strange about your body, it might be because you actually need to go on puberty blockers. That's evil. That's completely evil. If you look through history, documentation like that has been very thoroughly scourged from the people who got rid of it to the best of their abilities. So, and we can see why. There's absolutely no reason to sexualize youth. And yeah, let's face it.
Because it's not biology, it's not education, it's political, it's activism. A healthy society doesn't have activists as teachers. It's simple. That's not, anyway, lovely to see it.
Barclay, citizens in the chat.
You want to add? Have a little think while I read out Hans's chat. Nice one, Hans, for the lady. Last time I checked, UK depth scratch on 100% TAF to chew on for future government intervention. Oh, tariff. Hang on. Last time I checked, UK department scratch on 100% tariff to chew on for future government interventions on infrastructure. Hang on, I've got to work that out.
You got to like decipher some of these scrub super chats in translator.
I haven't got a fucking damn. So, Hans, are you suggesting that there's previous governments make it very difficult for replacement governments to make changes by putting tariffs on it? Is that what you're saying? I'm not saying you're wrong. I haven't got a clue. But if that's what you're saying, let me know. I'll try and keep an eye in the live chat. Go on, Barclay. Leave us with something because I want to get as many people on as we can.
Yeah, of course. So I remember a while ago you did that stream, the Iconoclast. It was a lot to do with like Britain is finished. Quite a black pilling thing. But I would just like to put out there, we're seeing a complete change in shift in mainland Europe. Britain is lagged behind a bit, but now with Reform UK, we are catching up. We're catching up to the progress that the AFD has made. And while these guys may not be quite as in line with us, I think we're about 70%, not more. We're probably 80%. If you're a nationalist, you're probably 80% on with reform. There's about 20% is quite a strict ideological difference, perhaps, but they are far side better. And even if you want to say it, they're paving the way for people who are of stronger nationalist beliefs to have presence with better freedom of speech, so on and so forth. So I'd like to say, Chris, take back your black pill. The title of that was clickbait, Yeah, obviously, yeah. Bit of rage bait. Everyone loves a bit of negativity, whether they realise it or not.
Rage bait. I've never heard that one. Oh, I've done it without even knowing. I would have liked to have seen a return of national service. I would have liked to have seen that just because I think it's a good thing. Look what the builders in my old house found. My dad's national service card.
That is cool.
Who's that? That get a bit of focus. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, it was nice.
But interest. Sorry, go on.
I found it. Go on, quick one, because I want to get someone else in.
I was just saying, in regards to national service, funnily enough, one thing that the Tories promote, so I've been saying from a very young age, is that there should be a section of national service for doing cleaning, like local cleanups and like litter picking, which I was sort of saying, oh, what, get people cleaning and doing tidying up the local areas. That's going to teach them discipline. Like, you're an idiot. Local areas are absolute trash heaps. Yeah, okay, it's much easier than being in the Army, the Navy, or the RAF, but it's essential. That's amazing.
Well, yeah,
that's the best thing the Tories have ever said, as far as I've been concerned.
Weirdly, when I was in the Army Cadets, we'd often do things like that. They'd take us out and we'd clean the river that went through, the River Darranf that went through Dartford. We'd get in there and get all the trolleys out and all that sort of stuff. And we'd be like, it's not really Vietnam, is it? Because we were 14. But the boss, when we got back, he said, no, it wasn't Vietnam. He said, and if you weren't there, you'd probably want to get out quicker than you landed. He said, but it's about teamwork. It's about working together. It's about doing good. It's about having a stake in your nation. You can imagine the people who set up Army Cadets are nationalist. Nice one, Barclay. Be in the chat for young Barks. Look after yourself. I was going to call you earlier because I haven't seen you in the chat for a while.
I've been on a train all day. And just quickly, yes, I am excited for reform. I think reform is a sign of a great cultural shift, and it's the best thing we've seen since Trump. Let's be real.
Do you think we're going to get surprised, or do you think it's going to be 4 seats?
How the political system is set up is very different.
This could go wrong.
I think Farage is going to get his seat. From what I've seen, the Clacton polling deals landslide Farage. I think they're going to shock people. They might get quite a lot of votes, but they might not get a lot of seats despite the votes we get. I guess be one of those.
Quite a lot of votes will still send the same message. This is the direction this country's going in. Labour, you're just keeping the seats warm for the next 4 years.
And how much support of reform having in 5 years? That's the main point.
Yeah, agreed. All right, mate, go on. Look after yourself. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Lovely young Barclay there putting his bit in. John Fuse said he loved me in the chat. Very nice. I love you, John. Can I ask you why you think alcohol is part of the destruction of the West? Yeah, I have gone into it before, but I obviously can't expect you to be here for all of them. It's a bit of a bad one because, again, I'm going to compare it to here. But there isn't a drinking culture out here. They do drink alcohol, but if I go out with my missus and a few of her friends to a bar and then go around someone's house, that could be like a 6-hour affair. And everyone they get these little sort of half cans and they're like 3.5% alcohol, like European alcohol used to be, lager anyway, like, beer. What did it used to be called? I can't remember. And they'll nurse 3 or 4 of those over 6 hours. There's not a culture of getting absolutely shit-faced. If my missus is here on a Friday night, it can get to midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll say to her, do you want to go for a walk? And she'll say, yeah. And there's loads of pedestrianised areas, and you can go up there. There might be some people with a couple of tinnies, but I have never seen groups of people smashing things, throwing things around, being aggressive. I don't feel scared. I mean, I'm twice the size of most of the natives, but I mean, height-wise, well, and the other way. But I just think that there's been such a massive push on boozing in the UK, and I think it's, the damage it causes to families, the damage it causes to individuals, and I've made no secret of my own drug habits, but alcohol is, if you're going to, hello mate, I'll call you in a minute. When you're giving up an illegal drug, it's like it's frowned upon by most people anyway, and it's not sold pretty much everywhere, including the supermarket, the corner shop, and all that. Whereas, I read a novel once. I can't remember what novel it was, but it started with, he said, he said, I got up and went for a walk, and it took me 10 minutes to realise that England exists for the manufacture, distribution and consumption of alcohol. And when I thought about it, you can just sort of see that. You can just see how that works. They reckon about 20% of Brits have got an alcohol problem. So not only do you get the violence, the domestic violence, the car crashes, the damage to your brain, the lack of motivation, the lack of being able to stick with something for a long time, but also as you get older, all that alcohol is a massive drain on healthcare. That's why I think alcohol has been a terrible disaster for Western Europe. Mousecat, are you AI?
Why'd you say that?
There's something strange about you.
Got his hair down.
Got my hair down. I've got a bit of suntan, I reckon.
Is it down and out?
Well, it's pretty thick, isn't it? So if you look at that, look.
It is like a carpet.
Fucking loads of it.
You've got your and my hair.
I've got fucking most of Essex's hair.
Hello, love. How are you? I'll tell you what, when you're down like that, you look about 30 years old. But what's the white bit? Is that dyed or is that just...
It's just like, it's got like a badger, yeah? Like the front is just really grey. The back is sort of still a bit dark and it's sort of growing out from underneath.
Have I never seen you with your hair down? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I usually have it all sort of tied up like that. So.
Oh, you are far more handsome actually like that. But I like you letting your hair down. Let's go. What do you make of Reform UK?
Right. I was probably one of the ones who was really sort of against it, first of all, because I didn't like Tice. Wasn't happy with Farage because of like a few things. First off, what they did to the BNP. I used to vote BNP years ago, and obviously Farage was one of the ones who destroyed that. Tice, when he was out, was very pro-jab, as was Farage originally, and that really put me off of them because I had quite a stance on that sort of side of things. So that really put me off. There was a few other things, of course. I always found them to be very Civnat-based, Spitfire sort of nationalism. Not into that. Gone past that. Went past that about 2016. And I just thought to myself, I wasn't happy with him. And then all of a sudden, once he got in, once Farage said it, I started looking into it a bit more. And as you say, the manifesto came out, read that, thought, well, that's okay, but obviously it is just a sales pitch. And I thought, well, look, you're not going to get everything you want. You just ain't. That's not how the world works, is it?
That's it.
There's a reality out there. He is a great statesman. He's a good talker. Look what he did in Brussels. And what I'm really looking forward to, and I think I left it as a message on your thing, is when he does get in there, right, now let's face it, Labour are going to get in. They're going to be all powerful. But if you've got him in the Houses of Parliament, and let's say he's got a little bit of backing behind him, a few other seats, I reckon they're going to get about 20 seats myself. I personally think. So let's say they've got a little bit of clout behind them. We go to war with Russia or anything like that, he's going to be the voice for the youth because he's going to literally stand up there and he's going to be against that war. And then he's going to encourage more of the youth vote. Something else funny I thought the other day as well. Labour, they get in, they said they're going to make the 16-year-olds be able to vote, which is, I think, is crazy. However, if you look at the Zuma vote later on, if there's a war or something like that starts, they ain't going to want to go to war. And you're going to have things like, well, they're not going to go to war. You're going to have Farage there. And so it's going to increase his sort of popularity even more. Do you understand?
I do, but I think it's a risky, it's going to take a long time to rid the to rid state education of its leftist dominance. You know, that's going to take a while. And
Chris,
so even...
Have you seen TikTok? Have you seen the amount of young people that, like the Barclay age group, that are actually going on site, that have had enough? The ones that are being told you're not going to get a house because the amount of immigrants that are coming into the country are pushing the values up. They're never going to get houses. Farage is actually pointing something out. You rents and stuff. If you didn't have as many people in the country, obviously your rents would go down, your mortgages, your house prices would drop. You know, or at least they're not going to increase as much, and they would actually have a chance possibly to catch up. At the moment, young people, Barclays age, what's the chance of them getting houses?
It's a bit of a weird one for me, this, because I don't think people should buy a house. I think it's for in the situation we're in now, the way things are now. Food bank, I only have one person in at a time, but there'll be time. I'll be streaming for quite a while. I usually do. By the way, thanks, John. I didn't thank you for that, I don't think. I suppose if you're going to have a family and you want somewhere to live, and I don't know, I just think buying houses is not making the best of your money. You're actually making the banks better off. And I get your point. But I think renting, I think the future is, I think it's a renting future. And I think it's better for people.
Yeah, we'll go.
I think maybe when you're older, if you've got a few quid and you're going to retire, that makes sense. But, you know, the amount of people I know who bought houses, they saved up a fortune, worked their asses off for like 15 years. They don't own the house. The bank is essentially lending it to them. And then a fucking factory buys the land out the back and it stinks to high heaven all day. The house price went cut in half because no one wants to buy it. They ended up giving it away for about 30 grand, but they're still paying off the mortgage. And it's but that's a different argument. That's your original argument. I do understand that there's plenty of Zoomers on social media who are getting on with it, you know, like Barclay, but they're not getting the 40 million views that the leftist teachers are they? You know, I don't see a lot of big numbers on those.
Yeah, but you go into the comment sections on them, all of the label, all it is just vote reform. And they're saying it's bots, but they're not bots. I'm talking to these other guys in there, and they're not bots. None of us are bots. And it's just so funny. And it's just, do you know what I'm loving? I'm loving the reading. I'm loving them just being so upset. Do you know what I mean? It's Brexit all over again. And I can just see at the end of it, them just screaming and shouting. And then the reality of it's going to kick in, because eventually they are going to see that there's a massive upswell in reform, in right-wing politics, true right-wing politics, not this namby-pamby conservative rubbish that we've had for the last 4 or 5 years.
In the small amount of research I've done for this stream, exactly that, the comments, everyone, I'm voting reform. It's not, you know, and you know the things that me and Bartley were talking about, and what you said when you first come on. It's not exactly what I want, but out of the 3, I'm voting reform. Thousands of them. So yeah, fair play. That is a point. Do you reckon it's gonna? Do you reckon Paul Joseph Watson done a video? I think it was yesterday, might have been today, and he said something big's about to happen, and that's kind of what made me think, is it though? And that's when I spent a bit of time looking into it, and that's why I'm doing this stream.
From exactly the same as that. I mean, I spend probably too much time online, but I go across a lot of different platforms and I try and gauge it as best as I can. And I would say there's a massive upswell. It's very strange. It's happened very quickly.
Yeah.
I think people have just had enough. And I mean, the one I keep seeing is, why would we keep voting Conservative, Labour? What is the saying? What is the definition of madness? Is constantly doing the same mistake over and over again. And at the end of the day, that's what I keep seeing. That's what
and expecting a different result. Yeah.
Well, you're going to get Labour, you're going to get Conservative, and you pretty much know they're two cheeks of the same arse sort of thing. So, anyway, I'm going to let you guys get on.
Hang on. Two balls in the same bag.
That's it.
Was your missus laughing because you had your hair down? Because I heard her giggling when you first come on. Whether she just walked around giggling.
Feather in my knickers.
Feather in my knickers.
Is that a saying? I've never.
What you got? Love
the planet Hindu come from? That's a saying, is it?
Yeah. Well, out of Essex, it is. Yeah. First giggling too much, you go, "What's up, love? I've got a feather in your knickers."
Well, I will be tonight, but trying to explain that in Khmer might be a bit tricky.
Yeah.
How's your Khmer coming up?
Bark, Nyom Ye Khmer Clang Clang.
Oh, clang, clang, clang to you too.
It's a weird one. I'll tell you what, I had a mate come and visit me, and he's a comedian, and he was doing a tour of Asia, and there's a couple of venues around here. And I said, should we go out and get some food? So that involved me calling my regular tuk-tuk driver, because if you don't get your regular, you tell him where you want to go, and they just drive until you realise they don't know where you're going. And then
you're in the comments.
Yeah. So I called him, spoke Khmer on the phone to him. He come along. We exchanged pleasantries in Khmer. And then I directed him in Khmer. And we sat, when we got to the cafe, I talked to the staff in Khmer, and they responded. Sat down, and mate went, "So fuck me, you can speak Khmer then?" And I went, "Oh yeah, I suppose I can." So yeah. I'm actually quite proud after it. That was the moment when I realised he hadn't heard me speak English to any Khmer people for like a sustained period of time. And I only had 10 lessons. It was a crash course,
Oh, well done.
But
I have trouble with English.
I do hit a brick wall very quickly, though. I can't, it's very conversational. If I want it, I can't discuss anything more than sort of, well, that's not true, because part of the crash course is he teaches you workarounds. And if you've had a couple of jars and you're talking to a Cambodian person, they'll understand that you're not a fluent Khmer speaker. So you can sort of, you work around it. Like if you go to the market and say, "Can I have some rice?" Well, that you might get a little punnet of ready cooked sticky rice. You might get a kilo sack of uncooked rice. There's about 50 things. So you've got to actually tell him what sort of rice you want.
Is it the kind of phrase like?
What was that? What did you say?
She's talking in Khmer.
Not that bit. The bit before.
No, like, is it the tone of voice and the way you say it?
I thought that's what I thought you said. No, thankfully, it's not a tonal language like Thai is tonal, Cantonese is. So yeah. I mean, it is a bit, because English is a bit, isn't it? I can say to you, "What are you looking at?" Whereas if I had to say to you, "What are you looking at?" They're different tones, and so there's a different meaning, but not
different meaning for the word when you say like the word F-U-C-H, and it's the way you say it, and it means
F-U-C-H.
Mouth cat, look after.
Yeah.
She's got a feather in her knickers.
Hey, Chris, you're looking buff, mate. You're looking buff. You're looking good. You should have a.
Look, the screen's not big enough, is it? Look. I did work out today, though. That's why I quickly thought I'd do a stream. Lovely to see you both.
I can't see later, mate.
Yeah,
no, I don't need to work with concrete, don't I? Just shifting shit. All right. Catch you later, bro.
I sit on my arse here, so I have to do the old weights. Look after yourself, mouse cat. Look after yourself, Mrs. Me in it. Ta-da! More positivity, people. This is very exciting. So that person who just come on, if you want to come on again, I'll put the link in again for people who might have just rocked up. I'm trying to turn people over here rather than having long conversations. I mean, there's never getting rid of Barclay in time, so I just let him go for a bit longer. But I just want to, you know, I'm trying to get a what do you call it? Here he is. I'm trying to get like a barometer, food banker.
You all right, mate? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, loud and clear. What do you make of this Reform UK?
I think actually a lot of the polls, same with the Brexit vote and Trump, probably sort of underestimating the movement that's going on here. Because like you say, everywhere you look, literally on, at least on right wing, and even in a lot of the left wing comments, you're seeing, you know, vote reform, vote reform. I've been spamming the hell out of it, and I don't even live in the UK anymore. So
yeah, no, I'm not there. Are
yeah,
you going to vote?
I can't actually vote. I've been out of the UK too long. So I mean, I'll tell you what. Basically, when the Conservatives first got into power, I was on benefits. You know, to be honest with you, I was wasting around, and they sanctioned me, and I had to go to a food bank, and it was that actual process of going to a food bank that, you know, made me look at my life and think, what the hell are you doing?
And that's why I think welfare is not a good thing. They haven't got it here. People make a living, and it makes them strong people. You know, they don't sit around. You know, when I was in my 20s, I was blagging the dole. I'm not proud of this. I'm obviously not bragging.
Same.
But, you know, I had 4 or 5 different accounts on the go. I got written off for being a junkie. And I actually had a thing. It was in those days, it was called a Med 5, I think, Med 4, Med 5. And it said on it, our client, what? Hang on. Chris Dangerfield is written off work for life. And then that was all typed, and they had to fill it in pen. And it said, due to opiate dependence. That's not a way to run a society. What? I choose to take heroin, and the taxpayer gives me money for that. And, you know, I could go on holiday. I didn't have to sign on. That money went into my bank every fortnight. And when you go out to places like Goa, there's fucking hundreds of people doing it, if not thousands.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few over here. I mean, there's just been a benefit scandal of all the Bulgarians claiming benefits in the UK, weren't there?
Oh, your southeastern Europe, is that? I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, I got sanctioned, and it just made me feel terrible, and I had to go to a food bank. But that actually was the, you know, a lot of people might not like to hear this, but that was the kick up the backside, which I personally needed. And,
no, I think that's I get that, yeah.
And I was speaking to, sorry.
No, I'm interrupting you. I always do. It's your turn. It's your time.
No. So I just want to tell you, some of the people that are listening that are on benefits and think, you know, there's no way out of this. You know, I was on benefits and I got sanctioned. I went to a food bank. I know a lot of people.
What do you mean sanctioned? I've just realised why you called yourself food banker. Obviously, what I don't understand is sanction lark. What did they say to you? We're not giving you any more money.
So basically, when I was on benefits, I was lazy. I didn't have any motivation. You know, I thought, what's the point? And basically what they said was, you're not making enough effort to find a job. So we're going to sanction you. So because I haven't filled in my little booklet, I don't know if it's different over there now in the UK. This was 10 years ago. It's probably changed. I think you got universal credit or something. It wasn't a thing when I was getting it. And basically they sanctioned me, and they said, well, you know, we're not going to give you any money for 2 weeks. And then they said, they gave me a referral to the Salvation Army. So I had to, you know, thank God for the Salvation Army, may I say, as well. They did help me out in that time. So, and basically, it was that, and having to get food from the Salvation Army that really made me think, like, what the hell are you doing with your life? This is no way to live. And I know a lot of other people will go the other way, but basically I moved to one of the poorest countries in Europe, which is Bulgaria. And I worked solid for like 8 years, and I got promoted, you know, learned some new skills, and I learned to code off YouTube, which is totally free. Everyone can learn on YouTube for free, new skills, right? Coding, you know, enables you to, I'm not going to brag, but this is because one guy, Andrew, in your chat was saying I was a liar. So coding, you know, and actually taking some initiative yourself, can enable you to go and
gold coin collection.
Yeah, and a couple of bars. It's about $250,000 in there in total. They're about 4 in depth. I'm not doing that to brag. That's because Andrew was calling me a liar. He was calling me a liar in your chat.
Do brag. That's an amazing story. And that's what, I mean, I do think that a country should have welfare. You know, you might be in a car crash, you've got kids or whatever,
Yeah,
you literally can't work. Yeah, give them some money. But the likes of what you were doing and what I was doing, just taking the piss, and there's millions of people doing it, you know, including our guests, of course. And
my sister's doing it.
It's just like that. And also it is a trap. Like you sort of, you hinted at that. You know, I've got an ex-girlfriend and she has got mental problems, but she can work. But she gets housing benefit or the modern version of it. You know, this was, I don't know what they're called now. Income support. So it's like another little bit on top of that. Disabled living allowance or whatever it's called now. And she said to me, because, you know, as she's grown and matured, the issue she had a terrible childhood. Okay, I get that. But she said to me, here's the problem. For me to earn what the government are giving me, I'd have to be getting X amount of money, blah, blah, blah. She said, but because I haven't worked for 15 years, because they happily give me all this money when I left school, I haven't got the qualifications and the skills. And so it's very, she said, you know, I'd have to leave the house that I've lived in for 15 years, that, you know, and I'd go into social housing and all this other stuff. She said, I'd rather them never have offered me this money. She said, because I feel trapped now. And if you've got a family, that's really difficult.
Harder. Yeah, I didn't see. It was easy for me to leave and go to another country because I didn't have the family aspect, you know, with kids and that. So I can completely understand how some people fall in that trap, you know, especially if you've got kids, like you said. I mean, my sister's the same. You know, they've given her my other sister works. They've given her a car because she's got ADHD.
I mean, I don't
but
know.
She works.
Yeah. I mean, I don't believe in mental illness. I've done a couple of streams on that. I don't know if I don't know whether you're regular or not, but I just think people are different. But that's another argument. What do you think? Well, first thing, congratulations for getting off the dole and retraining and having $250,000 of gold sitting there. That's a fantastic.
I've got apartments now. I own them, no mortgage. You know, this is what you can achieve if you get the right mindset. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of people with the wrong mindset. But, you know, if you've got kids and that, I totally understand it's a lot harder if you've got kids.
But still not impossible.
It's still not impossible.
Yeah. And then you're also, you know, you've got those towns in the Midlands where they shut all the mines down. Now, that obviously was difficult, but there's houses with 3 generations of people on welfare. And it's like, wow. No, it really isn't. Do you invest at all? You got any?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. Yeah, I've got probably too much money in crypto, about over $1 million, and I've got 2 apartments as well.
Look at that! The food bank. He went from going down there and having fucking tinned pears and dog food.
I came here with holes in my clothes and felt like a tramp compared to the Bulgarians because. But Bulgaria, you know, on paper it's the poorest country, but in reality, it's not necessarily, right? So it's a bit different. If everyone's ever been to Sofia, you know, like it's really nice, and everyone's driving a BMW and a Mercedes and whatever. But the tax here is what I would say is fair. So for me, I'd love to move back to the UK, but the thing is, if I go walking around anywhere in London with this, you know,
it's gone.
It's gone, yeah. Right? And in a lot of other cities. And then also the tax is just so high. I see a lot of people saying, tax the rich, tax the rich. What do you think is going to happen when you put the tax up? It's just going to move. So you're going to lose. Yeah. And in the end, you know, it's not going to be beneficial for the UK. I'd love to move back to the UK, but the conditions are not right. And if Labour gets into power, it's my fear, and I think you know, some other rich people that I spoke to, you know, they wouldn't dream of ever moving to the UK, ones out here. With the current situation out there, you know, with crime and tax.
I'm not rich. I was in my 30s, but I spent it on drugs and whores. I mean, the rest I just wasted. Come on, it's Georgie Best's line, so I thought I'd repeat it. But I am an entrepreneur, and when I see Labour coming in, you know, I'm talking to my business partner today. We might relocate. You know, you can rent. It's a bit of a swizz, but it's legal. There's people who've bought properties in Luxembourg, and you rent one room, and that's your office. And then you're a Luxembourg. What's the word? Not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Tax benefits there, yeah. Simply
because it's getting so ridiculous in the UK, like with corporation tax, the VAT. This. It's just coming. It's just, oh yeah, no, have some more money from me. Have some more money from me. What are you doing for me? Fuck all. And like you say, people say tax the 1%, tax the 5%. Oh, okay. And then you'll soon end up in a skint country because.
Well, yeah. And what you got to remember as well, right? There's actually quite a few people, you know, if you look at the statistics, who, you know, I think it's around about 40 to 50% of millionaires inherited it, right? But the rest, a lot of them, most of them have created it. So they create businesses, right? And then they've worked their way up from, you know, if you want to say lower class or whatever, like I did.
Yeah.
I was born on the council estate, you know. I used to smoke weed every day and struggled to find any food because I'd spend it on weed, my dole check, right? Because I had the wrong mindset, and you know, and it was so. The only thing I would ever thank the Conservatives for is that in my particular case, that was exactly, I needed a kick up the backside. So I can't, you know, I see what they've done to the country since I've left, and it's frankly, it's disgusting, right? You know, I would never advise anyone to vote Conservatives, right? Reform all the way. I can't vote, but you know, if I saw them get into power and they changed a few things, like in the contract, then you know, there's a possibility in the future I would move back, and then you know, my tax could go to the UK instead of a foreign country.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So, but I was just sorry.
While I've got you here, it was interesting that you were talking about weed, because weed's considered like the bottom of the rung. You know, I was a junkie, and you know, heroin's got a right. Oh, it's the worst drug. But the amount of my peers when we were like 17, 18, proper stay highs, you know, wake up in the morning, ripping B loads for breakfast, and they're still on benefits at like 35, no training, no education, no nothing. And through weed, I haven't got a problem with weed. You know, I mean, I'm an old man now. I'll have one every 6 months, and then I just sit there white knuckling it, going, "Oh fucking hell, I wish I hadn't done that." But I think that stuff, it's not what it used to be. It used to be what, 4% THC.
It's a lot stronger now.
Exactly. You know, all those hippies sitting around passing it round. People don't pass joints now. They all roll your own one, and 24, 25% THC, and they jump out of their skin when the doorbell goes.
What I would say about that is, like, you know, we all know you're never going to stop it, right? So I think, you know, from a policy standpoint, they should allow weed to be sold in certain shops and whatever, and tax it.
Exactly. And then with that money, you can help people out when they come to you. The police don't hassle you. Don't spend a fortune on putting.
Don't get criminal record.
All that. Exactly. What's the point of giving a drug user a criminal record? You've got someone in a shitty situation. Now you're never going to be able to get a job. So good luck building your life up. You know, you're basically sentencing them to a life on drugs because they've got no reason to change.
I will agree with you on the point about weed, though. Like, you know, like, it was part of the issue with me being on the dole and being lazy and having the wrong mindset. It was when that sanction happened and I had to go to the food bank, I made a decision to stop also smoking weed, right? And then I moved to Bulgaria. I worked for 8 years, as you said, and I do smoke now again. But you know, it's not a problem for me. I'm financially free.
Do you work from home?
Yeah. I run a VPN company. Yeah, I learned it on YouTube for free, totally free. I never paid a penny for my education.
Yeah. You haven't got some 70,000 student loan.
No, that's
totally.
stupid. That is stupid. I mean, this is the education system now, right? What they, like you said, what they teach you in, you know, in school is basically to be a worker. That's basically all it is. And then the higher education, you know, will be the managers generally, won't they, or the company, you know, people that own companies. That's the system.
And the communists.
Yeah,
I mean, I did a master's degree, and it was a communist boot camp. It really was. It's just shocking.
I bumped. Yeah. So I mean, I've got to go. I do appreciate the time.
Just before you go, when was it when you came out of the food bank? Did you sort of look at your box of random shitty food and just think, "Fuck, what is my life?"
Yeah. I mean, I'm ever grateful to the Salvation Army for providing that service. You know, there's a lot of great charities out there, you know, and I give money to charities, right? So, and the reason I showed you that goal before is not to try and brag, it's to show people that you can drag yourself up. And also, there was a guy, Andrew, calling me a rich twat, saying that I work for Raytheon or some rubbish. I don't know, you know, tax the rich, all that crap. You know, I come from a council estate, mate. Okay, you know, I probably had a worse life than you did, Andrew. So shut up.
They're good lads around there. It's sometimes when you're writing it can come across seeming probably more hostile than it is. But listen, thanks for coming on. I always love those stories, redemption stories. You admitted you were lazy, and you admitted you were doing this and that, and you've changed your life, and it looks like you're having a good time.
And everyone listening, watching this stream, if you are in a terrible position in life financially, or whatever, there is hope. You can get yourself out. But what I would suggest is you want to look at stuff online, right? If you're really online, okay? The education's all there for free nowadays. All right, guys, listen, I appreciate that, Dangerfield. Have a good one, buddy.
Yeah, lovely one, man.
Thanks, mate. Cheers, mate. Have a good one. Bye.
Lovely. That was amazing. And I've got my co-host. Are you co-hosting, or are you coming on?
I'm whatever you like, mate. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Look, okay, yeah. No. He was brilliant, wasn't he? I liked him.
I mean, what a great story. I've got Rags and 42. 42, I'll kick you out. And Rags, I'll bring you in a minute if you're prepared to stay there. Right, so for people who don't know, this fella, Packer, is my co-host. The joke is he doesn't do much, really. But it's a lot better when he's here. I can't see you, though, Packer. You're doing
it's quite dark. Because my missus is suffering from the black eye, isn't she?
She's got the bad eye, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's got the bad eye, and she's now currently asleep on the sofa. But I'm having to keep it quite dim in the living room.
That little turn did make a difference.
Yeah.
Right, let's see what Rags makes of all this. Rags.
Evening, gentlemen.
How are you?
Afternoon, gentlemen. Sorry, I'm a different times. Yeah.
It's quarter to 11 here. When are you streaming, Rags? I don't want to cut into you. Oh, it's a long time, yeah.
Or 7 o'clock to 8:30. Got Black Pigeon on top of it.
I didn't hear what. Yeah, I couldn't understand.
He's got Black Pigeon peeled on.
Okay. You're shilling.
That was for
just advertising stream. That's what you're doing. Rags, it would appear you're growing a beard.
No, okay.
You get yourself some glasses, you'll start to have some kind of fucking look about you.
3 of us with glasses. Ridiculous.
I have glasses somewhere. I can never find them.
Yeah, there you go. Go on, keep them
coming.
I was
watching this.
Rags, what happened?
People talking about.
Go on.
There was people talking about the Reform Party in bits and pieces, and I suppose somebody did there. It was young Berkeley. Nobody has seemed to mention the BBC smear campaign on them because of what he said about Ukraine. And everything he said about Ukraine in the BBC interview was factually correct about the overthrow of the Ukrainian government and the Americans slaughtered in their own government because they want to put NATO bases in Ukraine, based in Russia. So they're smearing him now, apparently he's telling lies and he's doing this, that, and the other, you know.
I mean, that's just an appeal to emotion for the BBC, isn't it? Oh, all Reform Party, all those poor Ukrainians. He's got blood on his hands. When I put
on, Chris.
Oh, good. All right. Sorry, mate.
Hold on. There was a report out there about a month ago. I can't remember who did it, but he had it up on YouTube. And Ukraine has built 6 or 7 5-star hotels and about 20 new nightclubs. And apparently they're in the middle of a war. The Ukrainian refugees that are here in Northern Ireland are flying out to Ukraine to stay with family and party the night away and put.
They're playing in the Euros.
I don't know why you're equating having a war with not making a profit, Rags. Like, you know, if there wasn't a profit to be made, no one would have a fucking war, would they? That'd be ridiculous.
It is weird though, isn't it? When you hear stories from the Second World War, like you've got the Blitz and people have got nowhere to live. And I'm watching the Euros and the Ukraine team come out, all these young, fit athletes, and you're like, hang on, aren't you at war? Go on.
The other video, Chris, is the military uniforms. They're filming in Ukraine in the military uniforms, and then next month they take off the helmet and they take off the balaclava, and there's not one man amongst them. It's all women.
Oh wow!
Apparently, in the Republic of Ireland, what did he say? Anybody between the ages of 16 and 60 was to stay in Ukraine. Now, we have Ukrainian women here walking about with mini skirts up to their hip. You can see the Mountain Dew, basically. If they bent over, it would be a hole in one.
I can't necessarily complain about that. You know,
have you got any photographic evidence of this, Rags?
I'm hardly going into levels going.
But I've put into YouTube here, I've put Farage BBC, and every single tagline says things like Nigel Farage runs rings around the BBC, you know, and there's another one here. Nick Robinson tries gotcha questions against Nigel Farage. You know, they're all of them are just trying to. I think they're kind of scared, you know. I think
he keeps answering their questions with facts and logic, which they really can't handle.
Yes, they don't like that.
No,
but
they keep saying things like, we can vote Brexit to open the borders to the rest of the world. And, you know, factual things like that.
Sorry, I missed it.
I dropped you a link about when you talked about conscriptions or conscripting to the army. I dropped you a video that's on my channel. It's a wee 10-second clip.
Pat Rocket, look, I've dropped you a link that's on my channel. Okay, all right. I'll play that once you've gone.
Yes, it's supposedly conscription for young people in Britain. You know, and there's a wee African guy.
Yeah, well, watch it. Hang on, I've just got it up. It's a bit weird with the shorts, isn't it? So this was a little while back, wasn't it? They were saying that British people might be. I mean, it's bullshit. There's going to be no land invasion.
It can't happen. Our children are not set up for conscription. Our children aren't ready for that kind of shit. There's no way that's happening.
But let's have a look at it, because I've got a funny idea. I'd probably be able to predict exactly what they're going to say. Let's see. So it's a short, people. I might be able to make it a little bit bigger than that using my technical computer skills. No. Oh, there you go. It's a tiny bit bigger, but no, it's off the screen. All right, that'll do there. No, I can't find the volume thing. Right, you should be able to hear it. Here we go. Here's a little short. It would appear to be some people of an African ethnicity in puffer jackets, and this is what Rags just sent me. Let's check it out.
They're going to war. What are you gonna tell them?
I'm gonna tell them to just like, bro, you fizz. Like, for starters, you think I'm going to war? Yeah. That you started. Like, what? Yeah. Come on now, use your brain.
I know. Why are you not gonna go to war?
I ain't going to war because it's like, bro,
Yeah.
it's England. Why am I fighting for a country I don't like?
Oh, you're not English.
Nah.
Where are you from then?
Yeah. I'm from Jamaica and Africa, innit? So mommy needs to ship me to Niger, so I need to be safe. Safe.
Rishi Sunak.
Yeah, I mean, I remember there was a big thing in North London, North One, Islington. There was a big hoo-ha up there, and I knew about it because I had a girlfriend up there at the time. This is going back a while, but the Somalian mothers were sending their Somali children back to Somalia because North London was too dangerous.
Full of our proud Jamaican British people.
It was
Is that what you're saying?
It was interesting that kid, he was happy to slag off England, but then when he said, "Where are you from?" then he didn't really know, did he? Went, Jamaica, Africa, somewhere like that. Just not England. Yeah. You can't have a multicultural nation and expect to have an army. Do you remember that?
You can't have a multicultural anything and expect to have a nation, can you?
Well, there you go. That's it. That
doesn't really work, does it? I mean, you've got to be very, very similarly aligned cultures for that to work.
Do you remember the advert? They were trying,
like the UK. We have to, for a start off, we have to all be like, white European Christians. Otherwise, it's not going to fucking work.
Yeah,
in fact, 100%. But they move into different communities. They come here, they move into one community, they buy it all up, they stick up a mosque or whatever, and that's theirs. And then you have the African aspect, and they move into one community, and everybody else leaves, and that's their community. How is that multiculturalism?
That's exactly what London is. They've always used that melting pot story, but it ain't a melting pot.
Them frying pans with all the different segments in.
Yeah. No, they have the ingredients are all still in different cupboards.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Do you remember that advert when they were trying to recruit more Muslims into the British Army? And it was frontline. They had like 50 cal guns going off, bombs in the backgrounds, helicopters, and then the bloke went.
Hang on a minute. Arshad's got to get his.
Yeah, four of them got down to the rally and they all stopped fighting. I mean, that's not. Look, I don't.
That's not even how they do it.
I've got no hate for any peoples. That's not what my issue is. My issue is I'm anti-globalist. I think I am pro-nation state. I think it works. Globalism fails. It's proven to fail several times, and it's like a continual failure. The state of the world at the moment is shocking. But that's madness, isn't it? Do you think the enemy are going to do that? Hang on a minute. Hang on. Whoa. Come on. Have some respect. They've got to do this 5 times a day. If all right, no problem. I'll give you 40 seconds. Madness. Go on, Rags. Got anything else you want to hit us with? You want to shield your stream? What time's that start?
That starts at 7. Industrial Revolution of Britain with Black Pigeon Pelt.
Okay.
I jumped off that 42 on. So he always has something good to say. Okay, gentlemen. I will catch you.
Thank you very much, Rags. Nice one for the clip. Lovely to see you. Take care. Ta-ta.
Cheers,
42 coming in. Or whoever next finds it, I imagine 42's hovering over the button. I'll do a couple of super chats. Thanks for the super chats, people. John, I'll go into that in a bit more detail in another stream. I don't really think I covered it, but thanks for that. Anglo, my man Anglo, Barclay seems excited about reform. I am. Am I reading him right? Oh no, yeah, he's all over it. He certainly is.
No, I think we should be excited about reform. I think it's lucky we're getting the option that America got in 2016, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if even if we're still as screwed over as we were with Brexit, it doesn't matter. We still send the same message, regardless.
Exactly.
We want the majority want change. We don't like this.
Even with Brexit, I mean, that cost my business a fortune and loads of hassle. But I didn't want Brexit to make money. I wanted it for sovereignty. I wanted it to, again, because I support the nation state. That's the mistake these people make. Oh, if you do this, if you do that, your every working class family is going to be £200 a year worse off. I reckon they'd take $3,000 worse off to have their country back. It's a ridiculous thing to say.
I think half of it's bollocks. The whole world's worse off. What are you talking about? How did Brexit fuck up the supply lines in America and ruin their economy?
I don't know.
We didn't, did it? But their economy's ruined.
Well, what if?
42. 1 minute, mate. I just want to catch up with these couple. Delta Trotska. Do I expect the FTSE 100 to decline with Labour? Initially, yes, because everyone will be like, "Oh man, everyone's going to be getting taxed to fuck." But Labour I think, are as much bullshitters as the Tories, and so what they pretend to stand for, they don't really. I think they'll be taxing different people at different rates at different times to make them look different, and it will be strategic taxing. But it depends, I suppose, it depends how many. I mean, you're talking about the 100 top companies in the UK. And I think they would have already sat down with Keir Starmer and co. and had conversations. I think you'll be all right with the FTSE 100. I mean, long-term index investing is it's a pretty surefire gamble as long as you've got 10, 15 years. Good question, though. I mean, my stocks have certainly, looking at all this, looking at the chance of Labour, I changed from a very diversified portfolio, and I put it all on tech and not very many companies either, because I think the AI thing is not a bubble, it's the future. Well, it's already taken over. I say it every stream. However, if Labour get in, I probably will re-diversify, but I'm talking about businesses, for instance, in India, businesses, just things that don't rely on the English or the American economy doing well. I still obviously will have some of them. I mean, my biggest position is Nvidia. My second biggest position is Palantir. So, but yeah, it is a concern for sure. And I think initially there'll be a right kick in the financial nuts of the nation because Labour run out of coal and things. I remember when I was at school when Labour in, you'd get there and there'd be fucking ice on the windows and they'd say that. Do you remember, Packer, when we were young?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. The power used to go off, didn't it?
Yeah, and they go, can you all go out?
Going off.
We haven't got any energy, and we'd all be like, yeah.
Sat around a fucking candle. Shit.
Scorey has dropped to £2 in afternoon, friends. Hello, Scorey. Good to see you. Hans, you believe in government intervention for infrastructure health service? Well, I don't actually believe in government after Horace convinced me. I don't think, I used to believe in small government, but then Horace convinced me that it's just a blag. The government is just another gang. There's a gang of kids. There's a gang of kids on an estate in London. There's a gang of kids on Temple.
But hang on. Right. So, is it that you don't believe in the system of government, the idea of government, or you just don't believe in any government that we have in our current system?
Oh, I don't think it's needed. I don't think.
So who fixes the roads?
Private companies.
And who pays them?
Well, who pays all private companies? The people who are.
So like local councils or what? Like, I'm just asking.
Do they have a web brand?
The community.
exactly. Like,
You see, I done all this with Horus. You've got it.
If they've got a pothole in that street, do they go to everybody that lives in that street and say, we want money off you for fixing that pothole? Or do we have a centralised fund?
There you go.
Because I'm pretty sure that road is used by people that don't live in that street. I'm of a lot of road with nobody living on it. Yep. Who fixes the motorway? Chris, you're muted.
Chris, you're muted.
Well, I might as well be anyway, trying to get through to you two dullards. We'll have that conversation another day, because it will go. I mean, this is when I was when I was a communist, people would go, "Well, who are going to clean the toilets?" And it's like,
I'm fully prepared to have my mind changed. I'm just asking the question.
Stop. And I will. We'll get Horus on and we'll do that. Problem is, we've got 230 people who want to talk about reform, and talking about not requiring a government is a massive area where you're expecting me to change two minds. That's not going to happen. But we will do it. That will be another stream. I'm sure Horus will come on. He convinced me. And you know what? I was embarrassed for myself because I was fighting Horus. I was like, you're off your head. And I said exactly what you two said. Yeah, but who's going to do this? Who's going to do this? And he has an answer for all of it. It's just they've managed to make you think you need these people. Has any government ever done anything good for you, or have they just fucked you over and taken money off you?
I'm already at that point, which is why I'm happy to have my mind changed.
There you go. I mean,
the problem. The problem.
42. Which brings us back to why I'm voting reform, because I've already had. I'm 54. I've lived through plenty of Labour and Conservative governments, and they just lie, and then they get in, and then they steal your money, and then most of it they waste, and the rest of it they put in their own pockets.
And then they tax you on what's left when you spend it.
Yeah,
you've got to pay VAT. You've got to pay an extra 20%. It's like, what?
Yeah. I don't know how many governments I've lived through, but every single one of them has promised to close tax loopholes. Every single one of them.
If you haven't ever expanded government and ever expanded civil service, you need to tax the people to pay for those employees.
There you go. There you go.
The problem isn't government per se; it's what it's became.
I don't think we need government, but I think that's a debate for another day. I will read the rest of Hans's comment and then I'll repeat that. You believe in government intervention I think he means, do you believe in government intervention for infrastructure, health service? No, I think the health service should be private, free market. Of course, I think a free market health service would be amazing. The NHS, if it was a business, would have died decades ago. I mean, it's a dead business. It's just a money pit. Anyway, I believe it should be small, warming the bonfire while watching Keep It Small. Hans, have you had a couple of lagers tonight? You're usually a little bit clearer. But on the back of the questions these two lads have asked me and Hans have asked me, I'll see if Horus will come on and do his governments aren't needed stream. And admittedly, he's better at it than I am. But he totally convinced me. And thank you, Hans, for the donation as well. And thanks for giving me a good idea for a stream. But what got me was when I realised, I was saying, yeah, but you've got to have a government. You can't just let everyone run wild. And he's like, what? I just said I wouldn't talk about it, and now I am, you bastards. But
we could always ask 42 why he came on.
He said, if the government disappeared tonight, right? So imagine the House of Commons, the House of Lords, the judiciary, number 10, all disappeared.
Yeah, right.
What do you reckon it'll be like tomorrow?
Exactly the same. It's exactly the same when you go into work on a Monday morning, and the person that normally runs your building your manager, whoever it is, that person that's normally there, they're not there. They've got a fortnight off. And what happens is we'll have a quiet fortnight, and you make sure the shit that needs to get done gets done, and the rest of the time, fuck about. Right?
The problems start the first Monday of the next month. See, whenever the police don't get their paycheck, the prison service don't get their paycheck.
Yeah, but they do. But they do.
They don't. They don't. If you do away with the whole fucking lot of it, which includes the civil service, which includes
no. Yeah, but I didn't say do away with the whole lot of it. I mean,
yeah, you said no government.
I would like.
How long did Ireland run with no government?
I would like there to be places where you could put people who murder people, for instance. And
so you need someone to organise that.
Yeah, private company, which they do anyway.
Right. Yes, I get that, but you need somebody to run the place.
Nah, you went up a cul-de-sac then. You went. Yeah,
no, I haven't. Right. You need someone to run the place, and you need somebody.
No, you don't. Listen. No. You don't. You get rid of the police.
Okay.
Listen. Wait. You get together with your local community, and you say, right, we need people to protect this community. And then there will be, because there is loads of opportunities, there'll be private security firms who will police your area.
I know exactly how that ends up. We've got that, and you don't want it. You do not want to be beholden to the biggest gang in the area.
I don't want to be beholden to the fucking old Bill that have kicked the shit out of me thousands of times, thrown me in cells all night, tried to bribe me with bags of gear. Don't tell me the British police are any fucking good. Jesus. Anyway, another stream, 42, another stream.
Right.
What do you make of Hans? Thank you for the argument.
Okay. I actually came on to talk to you about houses.
Okay. But what, reform? Oh, hang on. Right. Not reform, though.
Well, I can't talk about reform, but whenever I sort of came in the middle and you were talking about people not buying houses.
Yeah, I think it's not a good idea.
Right. Well, see, all my cousins who are roughly the same age as me, around between 55 and 60, they all live in these things called houses, and they don't pay any mortgage and they don't pay any rent. They just live there and upkeep them because they've bought them. Yeah. Now, I'm the anomaly because I had a divorce at the wrong side of 45 and ended up having to go into renting. And it turns out that I can probably afford to retire about lunchtime the day of my funeral because I pay rent, and they can retire now. I think buying a house is a really good idea if you want somewhere to live for the rest of your life.
No, but I could give you hundreds of examples where it worked the other way around, where pardon?
Where people got a house for not buying one?
No, they bought one and it just went wrong for them. You know, they had a mosque built up the road, and then they got their house bought off them in cash for 20,000.
Yeah, the system wasn't set up for the mosque built up the road. The system was set up.
But then there's other examples where, look, if you have to find 150 grand to put on your deposit for a house, that 150 grand for that house you do not yet own, because your cousins in that 42, they had to work for 10, 20 years to pay off.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So they had to do that. And they couldn't move. What happens if some cunts move in next door and just play reggae music all night long?
Trust I moved twice with having a mortgage. It's really simple. What happens is you sell your house and you buy your new house, and the profit you have from your first house comes off your second house. And you can even also do that in such a way that your mortgage still ends at the same time.
Right. Okay, listen, you talk to any professional financial advisor and say, do you think buying a house is a good investment? And they'll say you can make a fuck lot more money without doing it.
And see all those people that I've seen giving that advice, they've all been sitting inside a house. that looks like they own.
No, you're just guessing now. You're better.
No, I'm not messing. I honestly.
No, I said guessing. They look like they own it. Well, the one bloke I'm thinking about doesn't own a house, and he's got about 8 million in stocks.
Well, why is he not owning a house?
Because he says it's a waste of money. Because why does he need it? Renting's brilliant. What happens if you just want to move?
When he retires and he can't afford to rent, he's still going to need a roof over his head.
Because I cannot afford to fucking retire whenever I come 65. Because I have to continue paying rent.
It's exactly the same as the government thing. You've had all this stuff put in there.
No, I haven't. I haven't actually. This is my cognitive thing where I wake up every day going, what the fuck am I meant to do? Because I'm struggling to pay rent as it is while working. So how do I pay rent whenever I...
but 42, in fairness, though, it sounds to me like your cousins considered this when they were like 20 or 30.
Oh, believe me, I was 17 years under the mortgage whenever I got divorced.
All right. Well, you've also got that problem.
Had I not got divorced, which was caused by marrying the wrong person in the first place, I would not be paying rent or mortgage now.
Right. So, and I'm not going to obviously, look, listen, me and you have already got another stream wrapped up. Now we've got the Horus one. I'll get a financial advisor on and we'll discuss house buying. But for now, Reform UK. There's a lot of people in here who want to talk about that. So I would like it if you could, please.
I have a bit of a dislike for Nigel Farage because I think he done people over with UKIP. But are they better than Labour or Conservative? Yes, they are. And we are no longer in a position to vote for who we really want. And we have to vote for our least worst option. My personal opinion is our best bet would be to pull down the whole government and civil service system, which I believe we could do very easily, very legally, just by interacting with the system and overwhelming it, because we have a system whereby the government sets up all these ways we can interact with it, consultation documents, all sorts of meetings that you can get with the MPs and whatnot. And I think that with a concerted effort, we could, for example, whenever they put in a plan permission application, it normally gets around about 15 replies. If somebody wants an extension on somewhere. Now, what would happen if all of a sudden that got 15,000? And all those replies said, due to the fact that we have no understanding due to mass immigration, we do not know how the size of the society we are catering for, and until we have that information, nothing can be planned. And we just say no to everything, like absolutely everything. Somebody wants an extension? No. Somebody wants a new road? No. Somebody wants a new hospital? No.
So kind of like sort of endlessly throwing spanner in bureaucratic work. Okay.
The government works 365 days a year. It's a big fucking coggy machine. And we can clog all of those cogs it doesn't even cost us money anymore.
Who's going to repair the roads, though, 42, if we do that?
Well, here's the thing.
I don't understand what side of this fence you're on at the moment.
Right. Whenever we have properly broken the system, it can be put back together in a way that actually works.
We have the technology to build the world
the way we want.
Yes, in the way we want. We have a government where, by the way, see all your members of parliament, all your local councillors, all of them, they all work for you. They're your employee. And whenever whenever you contact them, they have to at least read it and give you some kind of a response.
I think if we got as far as destroying the government, the last thing I'd want to do is replace it with a government. I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, if you had a very limited government that was only interested in the things that it needs to be interested in, that would actually work.
You could probably do that with AI by Christmas.
Yeah, you probably could, but then again, who's programming the AI?
Me and Food Banker.
Right. Okay. I'll go with that. I think that could come up with a workable system. But if it's I don't know, Diane Abbott and Michael and your man Lamy, then you're going to have a really bad AI system. It's not going to work.
Someone tweeted that the other day. They said, "Just think of this: in about 4 weeks, David Lammy is going to be and I can't remember what's his role. What's he going to be?
Oh,
he's going to have like a front bench seat. That David.
Yeah, he'll be Home Secretary or something. Won't he be saying?
He was a bloke who on national radio described immigration as revenge and laughed. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
He went, someone said, what? So you're saying it's revenge? And he went, well, yes.
He's racist and dumb, which he has proved.
Well, he's one step up from Diane Abbott, at least. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
Although that's a low bar.
Yes, he's figured out which feet to put his shoes on, and maybe have one pair of shoes with a left and a right, and not just two odd left shoes.
Or just on your ears.
Yeah.
Diane Abbott doing that. 42. Anything else you want to say about Reform UK?
They have made a alliance with the TUV, Traditional Unionist Voice, which is the smallest the smallest unionist political party in Northern Ireland. Jim Allister from the TUV is very good. He's got a good judge on things. The fact that he's decided to throw in with them has changed my opinion on him slightly. Maybe there might be something on it.
I mean, I'm sort of with you with Farage. You know, for me, he's a bit like Trump. You know, I wanted Trump to win. I want Trump to win this year. But
Farage,
I'm the same with
Farage and Trump are chalk and cheese. Farage decided not to do anything with his win. Trump was prevented from doing anything with his win.
That's a fair point. That's a very fair point. But I wasn't talking about it in that respect. I mean, in terms of their personalities, they can be a little bit.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to mean tweaks. Or mean X's now. It'll be mean X's. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, Elon hasn't sorted that out, has he? It's still a tweet. No one posts X's because that's your ex-girlfriend, and who wants to think about them? 42. I will get you an email. For people who don't know, 42. Point to him, Packer, because I can't.
Yep.
He's going to be coming on here in a week or two to to talk to us about the origin story of the, how would you describe it, 42?
Oh, the conflict in Ireland.
The Irish conflict. The division of Ireland. But the origin story. And I'm going to try and find someone to come on from the other side of the coin. And
I hope you do.
Yeah, well, it just makes sense.
I really hope you do, because I've never heard them address, I've never heard the other side address any of the issues.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'll try and find. You can stop pointing, Packer. Nice one, 42.
All right, thank you. All the best.
Yeah, look after yourself, mate. I'll get that email to you, I promise. Ta-da!
Right, no worries. All right, bye.
You know, I'll tell you what, Packer, old 42 there, he's a mild-mannered, compassionate, gentle man. But when he wants to make a point, he ain't gonna let you. He'd give me a bit of a shiver there, to be honest with you.
He's not wrong about the cogs of democracy.
No, that was interesting. That was interesting.
He does know how to make them work. Seriously, he does.
But you we don't need governments. Anyway, that's not fair for me just to declare that as a fact. Well, I'll see if Horace will come on and talk about it. Anglo-Saxon, me old mucker, he says this: I'm conflicted, me old China. My son is finishing his last year AI programming in Russia. He speaks the lingo too. I've got skin in the game. You're talking about Russia. I can't see there being it. That ain't going to happen. I think you're going to be fine. You're going to be absolutely fine. I think the idea of land invasions and all that sort of stuff is long gone. Ukraine can't win that war. Putin has been saying for over a decade, unless you stop surrounding my country in NATO fucking bases that fire ballistic missiles, I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
A couple of years go by, couple more NATO bases. Listen, I don't want any trouble, but it's like a horseshoe around the old around Russia.
Message: stop.
Yeah,
Pointing missiles at Russia.
Yeah, look at the what was it, the Cuban Missile Crisis. There were some photos taken on a fucking Kodak camera from about 6 miles up that looked like some missiles on Cuba, and the Americans were like ready to press the button. Putin has tolerated over a decade of just like a wall of military bases.
Yeah,
it's a madness. I don't support Putin, but I understand, and I think over a decade of saying it might be better for world peace if you stop these obviously hostile movements, and NATO shouldn't even exist anyway.
No, it should have been dismantled. You don't need it. You got the United Nations. And why do you need NATO? NATO was set up to fight the USSR, which hasn't existed
since about 84, wasn't it? Perestroika, glasnost.
I don't know. Let's ask Knight Rider. When was NATO? When was the USSR? Let's ask Knight Rider.
The North Atlantic Treaty Organization should have gone out. Should have been dismantled a long time ago. But they thought, well, hang on a minute, we've got it going here, haven't we? And it's sly as fuck. Mousecat drops a score on the door. Big 20. What I meant to say is Farage in Parliament going up against Labour like he did in Brussels should be, absolutely. Should be entertaining as fuck. I watch a lot of John Kennedy, Ted Cruz. Who's that new bloke? He's only been in there a couple of years in the Congress, American Congress.
He's a young, slick-looking one with a quiff.
That's him. Just ripping apart these people who are trying to get judge jobs and all that. It's to see a bit of that in the English Parliament would be amazing. They're excellent, aren't they? John Kennedy. Well, I just want people like that. I want people who actually care, not just trying to get a pension and a nice house in Mayfair. So yes, I agree with you, Mousecat. What was it? Didn't the Speaker of the European Commission say, "Stop waving those flags"? And he went, "What, are you going to chuck us out?" BGN, P189 has dropped 10 BGNs.
What's that?
Belgium.
There's a channel, and he still uses, what's her face? That fat ex-politician, I think she's a lord now, shouting at the European Union, shouting, "We're off." She actually gave a speech which ended in "We're off," but it started with, in every single case throughout human history where an oppressor has oppressed a people, they have risen up. Something along those lines. And she just ends it with "We're off."
Yeah, I'm thinking Momola.
And Widdicombe, that's it. Thank you, Emma.
At Widdicombe, yeah. I think this might have been Food Bank. Certainly someone from Bulgaria. Nice one for the 10 Bulgarians. Get your friends and family to vote reform. That's a good call, actually. Have this conversation, people. Why not? You know, think about it. Labour, you're listen. I'm not. This isn't hyper. Thank you, mate, for your donation. Much appreciated. There's a couple of entropies come through that I've missed. I'll read them out. Jordan Taylor, bless you, Jordan, for using entropy. Farage all day long. I hope he can lead reform to the opposition. Yeah, exactly that. Lovely. Nice one, Jordan. Adam McDermott dropped an entropy as well. Should there be sympathy for Brits on the dole, those without entrepreneurial guidance? Most workplaces are woke anti-white hellholes. Claiming benefits will help fuck the state up. That is good. I
get the point. I get the point of claim benefits, because if you don't claim them, the government are just stealing them and giving them to people that don't deserve them. So
I think
I get the argument. We should be in a system where no one that doesn't deserve benefits claims them. But we're not in that system. We're in that system where it's given away to people that perhaps don't deserve them quite a lot of the time. So if you're part of this country and you're not getting them and you can claim them, then why not? It's the left. That's what the left is doing. Is they're infiltrating systems and breaking them from the inside.
You have contributed more to this stream than the last 100. Don't know if I like it. I don't know how I feel about it. Okay, so I get what you're saying. You're seeing it as like a revolutionary act to sort of drain money out of the government. But the problem is,
my government is prepared to.
Whoa. 1 second, Patrick. I'm actually just want to respond to Adam, who sent the text, the entropy. Thanks for the donation, and you, Jordan. The problem is, it's not the government that lose that money. They then get that off of working people. You know, that it's not like the government. If loads of people start claiming welfare, the government aren't gonna, oh no, I can't have my chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce. No, they're just gonna tax working people more. So you're not actually, my guess is you're not actually gonna be doing the government any trouble. You're just gonna be doing people who are already being taxed to pieces even more damage. That's what I'd say in that situation. Picard.
Right, yes, you're correct. And I would much rather I had a government that would tackle the issue like form. But if that isn't the case, then the situation I'm in is the government is going to take my money, whatever. That's just going to happen. My taxes are going to go up and they're going to print more money. And what they're going to do with that money is they're going to give it to their best friends, and the rest of it they're going to waste on train lines to the north.
I don't think
the government is going to be given billions or millions are going to be given daily to people that, you know, arrive here with nothing. So if a person who's lived here forever wants to claim benefits and have kids, fine. I would rather that. I would rather that than it was wasted on a train line that's never going to happen.
Yeah, but I'd rather neither of it. But
obviously, yes. But we're not in that system yet, are we?
It's also it demoralizes a nation. You know, when you see people going, well, there's no jobs. You know, when I see people out here making stuff out of rubbish, they find a few empty cans in a bin. They sit there all day with a pair of scissors and a bit of sandpaper. And at the end, they've made something that they can sell to a tourist, a beautiful, like a unicorn or something, and they sell it for £10. That feeds their family for 4 days. And it's like, that makes a strong nation. And the thing about a strong nation is it ends up being 98% Khmer people. Whereas a weak nation that has let the government look after them also lets people who come into their country go on the most ridiculous beep spree ever, and millions of young girls' lives will never be the same again. You know, that wouldn't happen out here. I tell you what, if a load of guests came to this country and that went on, they'd be floating in the Mekong by morning. They're not going to put up with that because they're a strong people, because they haven't been turned into pussies. Anyway, right, nice one. Good questions. Liking this. Let's get that link in the chat again and see if anyone else wants to come in. I'm going to have to wrap it up soon because I just want to repeat that one again. Do get this conversation out to people. Just, you know, try and suggest to them, what have the Tories done for you? What do you think Labour are going to do for you? Because don't. I'm not mixing my words here. A vote for Labour is a vote for Karl Marx. They're Marxists. They are. They studied it. They've written essays about it. They cover it up, but they call each other comrade at their fucking conventions. That is a doff of the cap to communism, which has killed an estimated between 200 and 300 million people. You want to vote them in? I mean, no. As an idea, maybe no. So just take a punt on a new one, and out-tune that telly from the BBC. Oh, that Nigel Farage, he's like a racist. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. What has he ever said? And then they can't give you, hello, mate, you all right? You voting for reform? Right, I reckon we've got time for 2 more guests. I'll put the invite in the chat, but I'd like to keep it on the reform. Been a good stream. People, I stream a couple of times a week. Listen, people, like the video. I know you're in the chat, but like the video, because if you don't do that, YouTube doesn't spread it around. And one other thing, I'm a writer. The top link in the description is my Substack. It's totally free. I warn you now, it's pretty heavy stuff. It's not for everyone. Thank fuck. I don't want to be writing Harry Potter. But if you want to go and check out some of my writing, you'll see there's loads of comments. It's had about 30,000 views. There's about 35 shorts over there at the moment. I don't know if James is going to know much about this political situation. He might do, though. So check out my Substack if you want. They're short stories. There's 35 over there at the moment. So I'd really appreciate that. But like the channel if you could. James from Philadelphia, are you here to talk about reform?
Yo, Jimmy.
I just got here. Reform about what? Well, tell me.
Well, I can't because I haven't got time.
You can give me a quick synopsis.
Right, so I cannot. There's a new political party that it's very complicated.
Nigel Farage is in charge of it. Have you heard of him?
Well, the parties in power will never let a new party take over, so anywhere.
Well, they do, because it's happened many times. I mean, in my lifetime, it's slipped 4 times.
I mean, here, the independent party, it ain't shit. It ain't shit. So,
James, you're going to have to come on the next stream because there's a lot. It's always no. Don't run away because I like to see you. I like to be nice to you. It's just I've only got time for 2 more, and this is quite important for the UK, and I just want the last 2 guests to be on what we're talking about.
That's fine.
So, and apologies that you just got here. So obviously you thought it was one of my standard call-in shows. Oh, I don't like that body.
That's fine.
He looked away. Look. Are you all right, Jim?
I went to the Trump rally yesterday.
Yeah.
And My buddy talked me into leaving for 370 hours to watch his dogs.
What?
Yeah, I was down there waiting in line. He kept offering me money to come watch his dogs. And when he got to 370, I said, deal.
He kept going up and up and up.
Yeah,
and you were going, I'm not doing it. And he got to 370. You went, I'll look after
I'm
your dog.
sitting there in 90-degree weather. Like, fuck this. Another 3 hours for the doors to open. Like another 4 more hours for Trump to come on. Fuck that. $370.
Nice little earner. All right, mate. Talk soon, James. Look after yourself, man.
All right.
Ta-da. Best wishes. That was amazing. Summarize it. I was thinking, how am I going to summarize this? You went, do you know Farage? Oh, I do like Jim, though. I really do. So glad. Do you remember, Packer, when he had his baseball bat? It was, I know it's funny, but it's not
horrendous all the time.
Yeah, but yeah. For people who don't know, that fella is James from Philadelphia, and like me, he's had his problems with substances, but I've only had one slip up on my channel, but he was doing nitrous oxide, drinking. He had people coming around his house, kicking his door in. He had a baseball bat. He was going, "I'll fucking hit you! I'll fucking..." Midstream. Right, I'm going to put the link in the chat. We've got time for one more, so this will be the last person. And if no one comes in, I'll get James back in just to have a little chat. But I would like, if you come on, Scrubs, someone's got something to say about reform. Feel free to make a donation. It's been a great stream. It's nearly midnight here. We've been going for 2.5 hours. Thank you to everyone who has donated. I'm just going to check the old QR code one, actually. Oh, if you do the one on the QR code, Packer, could you indicate the QR code? You get a personal video reply. Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what, that's frustrating, though. So someone makes a donation, and it's a 30-second maximum video reply. He's Ted from yesterday. Teddy boy, couldn't leave it alone, could you?
No, I was possibly slightly less than perfect.
Right. Had you had a couple of drinks yesterday?
Let me get rid of the echo. I'm sorry. Just 1 second, guys.
You all right?
Yeah.
I'm not getting an echo.
StreamYards. It was because I had the YouTube playing in the background and StreamYards open as well.
It's the classic. I do it myself.
Oh, God, the lights are awful. Give me a second. Let me lose the lights above my head. It's whiting me out.
Oh, hey. He's back. He's back. He's flat capped.
This laptop camera is crap in it, guys.
It's all right. You've
got
got
not like I'm in a cloud,
but in a way you are. So, what do you make of this reform, Lark?
I'm all for it. Obviously, we need something. I think, like a lot of people who've spoke this evening, of what I've seen anyway, we've all got our sort of doubts of shade on Nige himself. Like, for one reason or another, there's plenty of reasons. I mean, what I started with when he first jumped in and said he was going to do it was, Nige has always been a Tory. He's always wanted to be a Tory. He's always wanted to be big and important in the Tory party. And his aim eventually will be to merge reform with the Tories.
Didn't he? I think he always promised they'd never stand against the Tories. And this is the turnaround of that. That's something he's always said.
But what if he's, even though we said that, obviously all politicians say shit and then don't do the opposite. But, if he's still planning on, making reform a big enough challenge to Conservatives to make the party worry, and then basically merge the two and take up a pole position, or at least a high up position within the party.
I think that would require a few Conservatives who are real Conservatives, as in trying to conserve British culture, to come out, stand up and say, yeah, I was playing along with Boris and all that other fucking clown show. Because Who are there real Tories?
I get what you're saying, but when they get absolutely trounced, which they're going to now, they're going to get.
But they would, I think, even without reform. Labour are going to win this regardless of reform.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's probably why he's made the decision to do it now. But you're up for it. Ted, what are people you've been talking to about it like, or have you not been talking to people about it?
I don't talk to a wide amount. I've got my business partner is probably who I talk most about politics and stuff like that with. He's probably, also definitely going to vote reform. But we're very close personalities. You would be if you're working with someone every day. You know what I mean? So it's not that much of a shocker that he's going to go the same way as me, if you like.
Do you think there's going to be a surprising like I don't know if you were here earlier, but the Telegraph, what I read earlier, have said here's the 7 seats that Reform UK might get. The Guardian said here's the 3 seats that Reform might get. And I'm starting to think this could be a lot bigger than that. I mean, I might get really disappointed and it be like 2.
Well, how many seats are they fielding for? Do you know that? I don't know that.
609. They've got 609 candidates. Yeah.
Okay. And how does that line up with normal? Is that with one of the bigger parties?
If they won all of them, they would win
the election. Yeah. Well, as I say, I don't think they're going to win the election this time round, at least. But I think they're probably going to pick up more seats than the Guardian and the Telegraph are alluding to, for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you, no problem. Yeah.
I wasn't surprised that the Guardian was a little bit negative about Nigel Farage's anti-immigration, but some of the business things he's talking about, lowering corporation tax, first down to 20%, then down to 15%, lovely. Moving the VAT threshold to 150,000, lovely, good. Get loads of new businesses started. Yeah, good. Not paying income tax until you've earned 20 grand instead of 12,050.
I think if anyone's asking how you're going to balance those books, because it all sounds, great at both ends, and we know that things can't be that way. If you cut spending, you're going to increase taxes and vice versa. Look, if he does what he says with migration straight off the bat, well, it's currently about £8 million a day we're paying for putting people up in hotels. So £8 million a day is going to go a little bit of a way to some of those other projects, I'd have thought.
He's talking about sending if you're an immigrant and you break the law, you do your prison time and then you go back to where you come from.
I don't even know why we should be doing the prison time. It should just be.
That's why I said earlier. You break the law, you go to the airport.
What happens if I fuck up in your country? Where you are.
They'd probably put me in prison to punish me because it's hell on earth, a Cambodian prison. I've seen one. But only for a few weeks, unless they wanted to make an example of me. But if I've done something.
Say I'm a drunken tourist, I get in a fight and I whack a Cambodian guy, put him down. We don't kill him or anything like that, but
even got a cult. Loads of Cambodians have come out of the alleyways and you wouldn't be seen again.
Okay, if the law got to me first, I'm getting deported, aren't I? I'm getting kicked out. You're right. You're probably right. A week or two in a shitty prison and then off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 60 grand a year to keep someone in a Cat C. Something like that, and why pay that? Although, if you are the government, you'd hope to have the judiciary in your pocket, and so okay, you've done that. Give him 2 months. Yeah, but hang on, that's 3 years. Yeah, but we don't want to pay 3 years. Give him 2 months, and then he can go. So there is a way of balancing it, just giving them shorter sentences.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and at first, people would be like, "What? You can't go 2 months for murder?" Yeah, but 2 months and then they don't live here is quite.
And it will inform the country of residence that they have committed murder, and it will be up to their country.
Have you murderer back?
as to whether or not they get put in prison upon arrival in their own country.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if our government are like, "Hi, sorry, Saudi, but we've got this guy. He's committed murder," or whatever country of origin you want to pick, and we're deporting him, we just want to let you know he's a murderer. It's up to them, isn't it? You know what I mean? If they want to throw him in prison or let him free.
I wonder if there's some kind of European Commission of Human Rights where if you sentence someone, you can't just, you have to. They have to, if they go for a court proceedings, you can't just, but hang on, it's your country, you can do what you fucking want. Sure.
I guess arguably, if we'd have had Brexit in anything other than name only, would we still be part of the Human Rights European Commission? Because why should we be?
Yeah.
Fucking America aren't even part of the sort of world crime thing. They cannot get done for committing genocide by anyone. They're literally not part of it. They couldn't do what they do, being the world's shitty police, if they were, held to account by the courts. I can't think of the name of the particular International Crimes Court. Can you?
Geneva Convention.
Yeah, is that it? Is that where you would be charged if you?
That's where Tony Blair and Bush haven't been charged.
Should be, should be.
Ted, what do you reckon the sentiment? And this is, it's kind of a ridiculous question, but what do you reckon your area will be thinking of this? Do you think they're sort of
disappointed to answer this question? I'm fucking pissed off. Do you know when we Conservatives got the landslide and they took areas that they'd never had before?
Like generations of Labour supporters.
They didn't take my area.
Oh wow. Okay.
When we were all full of promise, thinking they were actually going to do what they said they were going to do, not what we now know. Like, of course, but we stayed at the Labour Council. It's always been that way. It's a bit like Liverpool. Certain areas of Liverpool. Salford is the region of Manchester that I'm in, and Salford has always been. Well, it's always been working class, and so therefore it's always been Labour. But they don't represent that now, and just the voters haven't caught up with that. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You're muted.
It blows my mind that can happen, that working people still think Labour give a shit about them. White working class people they're not even at the bottom of Labour's list. They're not even on the list.
No. And again, I'm not saying Salford particularly, but some of the surrounding communities, heavily Islamic as well. So they've always been able to rely on that as well. The Asian voting bloc.
Well, that largely is what immigration's about, isn't it? Bring in voters. We'll give you free stuff. That's why Trump has got to win, because if he doesn't win, the amount of people they're bringing in, and then the US will be a one-party state for a generation, 20, 30 years.
Just imagine. Sorry, Paco.
I would just like to state at this point, there's other demographics of people that Labour no longer represent, other than middle-aged white men with beards.
No, that's true, and also weirdly, because in America, illegal immigration, the people who suffer most in the first instance, because obviously later it's the taxpayers, but in the first instance, it is African Americans and Latina people who suffer, because that's where they put them. They put them into those into the ghettos. And they don't want them. And I've seen loads of, including numbers, not just a bloke in the street saying, look, this black bloke's going to vote for Trump. But they don't want another 2 million Mexicans coming over the border this year. I've heard terrible stories about like pregnant women floating in the water down on the southern border, and farmers finding kids. They're doing their combine harvester, and suddenly chopping up a body, and it's like
hilariously, all these people brought there, or a lot of them, by NGOs that are caring for these people. They want them to be able to, get on in life better.
Yeah. And
they don't give a shit when they're dead in the Rio Grande. They're nowhere to be found there. Apparently, the Darien Gap is just awash with bodies.
That's it. That's the one.
Awash with bodies.
Yeah. And they've got all those wristbands that the traffickers put on them, so they know how much they owe. But
literally alongside the traffickers, the NGOs have got massive camps built out there on a certain, well, for the most part, on a certain country's dime. We'll not go any further than that. But yeah, there's huge camps. One for the Chinese, others for certain other people from different parts of the world. So there's several camps to support several different groups of people, all there on that NGO money.
And that's before they get into America, and they're trained in how to get. They're trained. They're given the forms. They're told what to say. I saw a thing the other day where the Democrats have now released an app that you download onto your phone before you've crossed the border, so that you can arrange your meeting. But it's illegal. It's an illegal crossing. But the Democrats have released an app so that you can.
Biden did that pretty early on. That was in the first year of his term when he opened it up. It was like, oh yeah, and everyone was complaining, and he's like, no, it's not going to be a problem. We've got an app.
It's mad, isn't it?
Well, it's as mad as our channel not being able to be defended from small boats. I mean, we defended it in a war against Germany, who were in France. It's like ridiculous, just the ridiculous notion that we just cannot stop them. It's impossible.
Farage do you know the RNLI bring them across?
The absolute scum.
And I didn't know this, but every time I used to see when I lived in England, they'd have, collecting money for the lifeboats. I'd always put, if I had any change in me, that's amazing. Dangerous job, volunteers, of course, have a couple of quid. But when you look at where that money goes and where they go, they're a globalist organisation.
Burkinis in the Middle East.
There you go.
When I heard that story revealed, and I'm like, the RNLI donations are going to buy burkinis to teach people in the Middle East to swim. It's like, I'm sorry. And you're shutting life stations down up and down the country, have been doing for the last 15, 20 years. Yeah,
mind-blowing.
Absolutely not. Just there's so many big charities that I just will not involve. And I hear the elderly mother, and she, I want to give it to this charity, that charity.
Can I just interject? There's also a law or rule or something that was passed in, I think, in the 1980s that Simon Webb, hello again, was talking about the other day, whereby the RNLA are obliged to go and pick up any vessel that is in trouble in the channel. Now, obviously, a dinghy with 40 people on it is by definition a vessel in trouble. So they then get picked up by the RNLI, and they then become rescued people who have been brought ashore by the RNLI, as opposed to illegal immigrants.
But so that's the flag. That's how they get round. As soon as the RNLI have picked them up, they change their status by law. Okay. I mean, Farage, in the reform contract, it says they're turning them back. They're taking them back to France. Now, I've got a little bit of an issue with that, because compared to the amount that are coming in not across the channel, it's excuse the pun, but it's a drop in the ocean, really, the ones that come over by boats. But symbolically, every day seeing another video on Twitter or whatever of another boat full of working, fighting age men, no kids, no women, from like Algeria and other places that aren't at war. It won't actually affect the numbers so much, but I think propaganda works. no, you're not. We don't do that anymore. You can go back to war-torn France that you escaped from.
I slight, only in this, I don't disagree with anything you've just said, Chris. But all I would say is, I would say the worst literal individuals will be the ones that are coming on the boats.
That makes sense. Yeah,
they wouldn't have no chance of getting here legitimately.
But the mad thing is, they know that these people they owe money to organised crime. They know that they have paid traffickers to get them from their country through France. They've got on fake documents. And I know this because I know a Chinese woman who got we call them the triads, but they're actually the Hong family. And because English people think all Chinese people look the same, they've got a big stack of passports, usually Korean, and they just sit there going through it and match one up to you and then just cut your hair to the same in the passport. But yeah, really. So when it gets to UK passport control, it's like, yeah,
probably. More than likely.
Yeah. But the problem is they then owe that money to the traffickers. So not only are the RNLI and British military vessels have brought those dinghies over, not only are they supporting human trafficking, but when those fighting age males arrive in England, they've suddenly got to find 20 grand, or their wife back in wherever is going to get killed.
Yeah.
Where are they getting that money from? Or are they going to go down
black market straight away, isn't it? So no other choice. Give me a second, Chris. I'm just going to nip.
No problem. Ted's having another piss. He'll have the piss, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, people, it's been lovely to have good numbers. I might do a regular on a Sunday early afternoon then. This has been good. It's probably the subject, though. I think something quite big might be happening here. We all know that even your grandmother and people who don't want to talk about it in public because they don't want to get called racist and Nazi and all this. But when you can do it in the privacy of that little box, it could be it could be quite substantial.
On another stream at some point when you're just doing a chatting bollocks stream, I've got a great story for you, Chris.
All right. Well, make sure you don't forget it.
Oh, I won't.
So, Ted, you are my last guest on this one because it's nearly midnight and Rags is going to start soon. What's your prediction with this reform lark? And I know that's I'm gonna poll the chat in a minute.
Okay, I've got two. The first one I've already mentioned. So we've got Labour winning outright. That's absolutely going to happen this time round. Then, the Conservatives take such a whipping and reform.
Ted, apologies. I didn't give you the right question. What I mean is, do you think it's going to be Labour are going to win. I think that's set in stone, really.
Yeah.
But
I was going to move on from
reform are going to surprise everyone significantly.
Yes.
That's your answer.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they're going to do much better than people predict, and that's because the people who predict are on the side of the left.
Yeah. All right. Nice one, Ted. Keep that story in mind. I'd usually ask for it now, but I wanted to keep
No. Sweet.
Lovely to see you. Lovely to have you on. Look after
yourself. Take care, Packer. Take care, Chris. See you later.
Man. Right, chat. Oh, James, thank you for that. Sorry to have to eject you, James, but I've tried to keep this stream on the one subject. So, people in the chat, same question. T in the chat for Ted. He's a good lad. People in the chat, what do you think? Nice one, James. It's just it happened a couple of weeks ago, didn't it? And I felt a bit bad. You come on, and then I had to woof you off then. What do you think, chat? I mean, don't write a long line because I won't be able to read them. Do you think it's going to be a big deal, right? Something like big deal, you know, words to that effect. Do you think it's going to be a letdown, you know, or do you think, well, they're the two options, really, isn't it? It's gonna turn heads and be quite exciting, or the third one is you don't give a shit because you don't care about reform, you don't trust them or something. Let's have a look and see what people are saying. Hello, Mal. Good to see you. Mal reckons
I honestly thought there'd be a lot more distrust of them, because I know there's a hell of a lot of distrust of Nigel Farage amongst people, right wing thinking people.
Yeah, but I said this the other week. I think the right, the British right are they're always bickering amongst each other. All right, yeah, you're not perfect, but let's just get something where there's things that we all do agree on, even if they're not exactly like it happened. Like we were talking then. I'd rather, if you're an immigrant and you break the law, you go to court and you fuck off. That's what I think it should be. So I don't think I think Farage has missed a trick there. However, doing your bird and then going is still better than being able to stay here. You don't go to a country, break the law, and then get to stay there.
There's still girls walking around doing their shopping, seeing blokes that fiddled with them.
Yeah.
Live in this country.
Hello, Eleanor.
Go do their shopping at the weekend, and there they are with their family.
Yeah, that all those northern towns. I mean, and we don't even know the half of it. I don't think. Eleanor says, "I'll check that." Oh, she's talking to October. It's happening in the USA too. Coach loads of people rocking up in vast numbers on coaches. Yeah, I heard, Eleanor, that 2 coach loads of Chinese people rocked up to the border. How the fuck do you get to America from the southern border? And I think it was John Kennedy in Congress. He said they're communist spies. He said, why would Chinese people go that? It just doesn't make sense. 2 busloads, and the America just like, yeah, just get your app, go up there. Yeah, they didn't have wristbands on. Well, they had hammer and sickle tattoos. They're only up the road from me. I better keep quiet. Scory says,
it was like, you know, the opposition to the leaders of the free world, and you heard that they had an open border whereby you could send anybody into their country.
Yeah, it's patently absurd. It really is. It's like, I know clown world has been overused, but you know, just even England. Come to England, use our NHS. You know, we've been working our asses off for 30 years, paying for it. No, you can use it. I can't get an appointment though, but you'll be all right. And I've got a friend who works in one of those social housing places, and she said the majority of the staff, because it's a left-wing kind of thing, the bosses, it's all diversity. So she said, you know, white people make up about 10% of the staff there. Now, okay, but she said the thing is, people look out for their own. You know, we do. People do. That's just totally natural. So when you're a white person and you go in and the staff are African, yeah, don't worry, Mr. Jones, we'll get back to you in a few months. But when your Somali cousin comes in, yeah, we've got a lovely place in Belgravia. You can move in tomorrow. And she said it's an unwritten rule, but it's pretty much what happens. Now, that is hearsay, so I'm not, you know, I can't prove that. But
it goes along with their logic, doesn't it?
The person who told me was, you know, she said it's pretty much everyone knows that's what happens. Yeah. You know, you see the same white families coming back like for a year, whereas, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's absolutely fine if no one stands up for them.
Someone
That's
said
absolutely
assassination, which is quite a thing. JP says make fascism great again. Thank you, thank you, Versatech. It's been a pleasure. I'm really excited about it all. Hello, Little Red. Nick thinks it's going to be a big deal. SB hopes it's going to be a big deal. Oh, that's weird seeing SB. That's not because of USB, but because of someone else who used to use that name. It will be a squeaker. I don't know what a squeaker is. You think it will just be like nothing, like that happened and they got 2 seats. Nigel reckons they're going to win. Mercy and Supremacy, 10 seats. See, I think I'd rather have. I'd love them to win. I'd love them to win. Excuse me, but I think more votes is better than 3 seats. I think that would be a good call. If they got imagine 20, 30 million votes, a third of the population, that really sends a message to Labour and Tories.
Yeah,
and
if they prove across the board that they are clearly the second party.
Say it again.
If they prove across the board that they are clearly the second party, if they don't win many seats, but they consistently come second everywhere else.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, I just think if you get 30 million people vote for reform, it's a real barometer of what the nation's thinking, and it's what the Reform UK contract is all about. They want that. They want that. They want that. And I'd love to see the BBC try and spin that one. Wouldn't it be amazing if they started doing, Nigel Farage has been ballot harvesting and postal votes. They tried to call him out for rigging it. It'd be amazing. Keys to the Kingdom reckons it's going to be a big one. Paranormal Channel X is politically assure.
They will just blame Gammons. It will be Gammons again, won't it? All the Gammons voting for Farage.
A racial slur that is all right because it's white.
Yeah. Once again, after Brexit, the
I think
English Gammons have proved what a bunch of racists they are.
Sorry, Packer, we're both talking. You talk. Go on.
No, sorry, I was just ranting about the media talking about British Gammons. That was all.
Yeah, it was awful.
Is someone coming on?
No. We're 666 Truth Seeker doesn't trust Farage. He's not my best mate, but he's amazingly managed to be a right winger who's told the truth about what's going on in the United Kingdom, and they know that he's well liked. And when you see those montages of him with his beers cracking up, there's something quite nice about that. There's something that inspires me anyway. Big deal. Reform 2029 win. I think that's what most people think. I think this first one will be the opening of the doors. It will be the bit where the rest of the electorate, it's like it is actually worth voting for them, because if you lot did, they'd have a win. And yeah, the problem with that is you can import a lot of voters in 4 years. You really can. There you go. Okay, what else? Another big one there. Another major upset. Reform to win. Little acorns grow big. They're a politically realistic response. I like that. Better than the status quo. Yeah, good call. I'll tell you what. I'll put the music on so that we can. There's a few more super chats. 42. Bless you. Oh, look at him getting all poetic. 'Twas the Lords that stopped actual Brexit. I know that's just a typo, mate. It was the Lords that stopped actual Brexit, which was Blair's doing from stuffing the benches. Yeah, it's not the only thing he's stuffed either. Horrible Tony Blair, man, this is all on the back of him. All that grooming lark is on him. He hasn't got blood on his hands. He's red when he takes off that fucking Burton suit. A man with that amount of money, why does he wear those all god awful suits? Must pay his stylist about £5. Nice one, 42. VC drops a lady. Nice one, VC. Ravenscroft has been on the firm for 45 months. Are people voting Labour to accelerate the decline?
Maybe.
A bit of accelerationism, perhaps, but I'd imagine most accelerationists would put the vote on reform, surely, because I don't know, Brian. It's an interesting one. Nice one for being a member for 45 months. I'm sure it's been more than that, but after old diazepam gate. Nice one for that. Nice one for that. I'll just give Entropy a quick look. No, done that one. Did we do that one? Yeah, we did. And that one. So, Packer, what did you make of tonight's stream?
Well, what I was here for was very good. I did like Food Banker.
Yeah, good call. A very motivating story. Someone has donated on the old QR code, so you'll get a video reply for that. But they're very rushed because they give you 30 seconds or 30 megs, and I can't quite work it out. But I'll get a bit of music sorted out, and I'll put all your comments up on the screen as it plays. It'll only take me a couple of seconds. I really enjoyed this stream. Lovely to have a load of new people here. Don't forget to check out my Substack. Give the stream a like, and that might help other people, because YouTube don't help me. My channel has not grown in 5 years. It hasn't shrunk either. It just stays at 19,300. Sometimes goes up 100, but then a month later it goes down. I've got the tune. Hang on. Right, I think I've got it. Oh, no, I haven't.
What are we having?
Right, that should be it. Hang on. You must know what it is just by that opening bar. Packer, thank you very much for joining me. Bless you, my friend. I will no doubt see you one day this week. I think we've got John Palmer coming on this week. No, I probably won't ask you to join me for that one, because I want to talk to John, and you will just get bored. But I'll no doubt do more than one stream this week, and so I'll email your missus, or I'll see you in the chat. And if you're up for it, it'll be a pleasure. A P in the chat for Packer, please, people. He's the best co-host in the whole world of YouTube. Look after yourself. Lovely,
thank you.
It really is a pleasure and a privilege. See you later, Bad Eye.
Ta-da.
Bad Eye. He's come back. No, he hasn't. He's gone. Listen, people, that was very... I'm excited. It could be a kick in the balls, but if it's a kick in the balls, nothing lost. We were where we were anyway. But, you know, Germany, the AfD, Meloni in Italy, Le Pen in France, Malia in Argentina, and even the Swedish Democrats in Sweden, I think that's what they're called. And it looked like England was the country that was lagging. And yet, it seems to me, and I know I live out here, so I'm not so in touch with British politics, but it seems to me it's been like a week and it's all just gone boom. And this could be really, really exciting. And like, even if the seats aren't got, but 30 million votes, 30 million English people said, we want that. That changes the temperature, the political temperature of the nation, and that's absolutely what it needs. I'm going to play a bit of music and I'll put every comment on the screen. Bless you all. If you like reading, but if you don't like reading, I do tend to write for people who aren't readers. It's not for everyone. It's kind of weird stuff, but there's a lot of different ones there. And like I say, they've had a hell of a lot of reads. So, you know, you can have a look at them and you'll see like 40, 50 comments under them. So I've got a novel coming out soon. It's a bit of a running gag here. I said that 7 years ago, still not finished, but I have a full-time job. Thank you so much for 250 people coming. We had 256 at one point. So there's probably been about 600 come through all the time. We've still got 180 and people do tend to leave now, but give the stream a like. That's really important and I'd really appreciate it. And check out my Substack and go and read a short story. And if you like it, leave a comment. Fucking hell, how much do I want to can polish my shoes in the morning? Here's a tune. I dedicate this to my man, Anglo-Saxon. You know what's coming, people. Let me just make it full screen. It's a bit of Bally G, Paul Mumford himself. And it's kind of an appropriate song for what we are potentially about to celebrate. This is called Cold Hard Steel. Take it away, son. Ta-da!
That's a great point, Big Farmer.
Tell your daddy you're fighting good. Feel the glory he said you would. Tell your mama you're coming home. Over all of that death syndrome. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Feel the dawn of your final day. Feel the fear and go anyway. Get right in that big black plane. Kill your conscience and numb your brain. But you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord. Do whatever they tell you to. Tell yourself it ain't really you. But when the slaughtering has begun, you'll be murdering someone's son. And you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord. Yes, you'll realize you've been sold when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord. Cause the wheels already been rolled when you feel the enemy's cold hard steel. Oh Lord. Yeah.
Wow. Britain under attack.
You know what it's like though, mate. Sometimes when you write things, it can sound more hostile than it is. You know, you are obviously welcome to your opinion. I might go and check that out. Is your channel Britain Under Attack? Is that what it's called? I'll go and check it out. Another super chat come in. Is me old the best bimbo in town, Emma Glass. I'd vote for whoever gave pink frilly lace ankle socks. Oh, stop it. Away for free. Bring it back to basics. Oh, God, I can't cope. Great stream, Chris. Take care, Scrubs. I've got to get a screen grab of that. Oh, that's going in my special little book. Good Lord. I also forgot to do my thanks. Thank you, Emma. Thanks to everyone who donated. Trust me, at the moment, I call it double bubble because things are quite bad financially. So when what's usually a tenner feels like 20 at the moment. So lovely. I want to thank my mods. Don't forget Rags is streaming later. And the boy Cray. I haven't seen him for a while, but he is a mod. We don't need him here, though. We occasionally get the old porn adverts, but we just let them crack on with it. Hello. But most of all, very, very big thanks to all of you lot who came in, listened, and everyone who came on and had a little chat. Much appreciated. Enjoy what's left of your weekend and enjoy what's left of your life, because you only get one, but if you make a good go of it, you only need one. That's lovely, isn't it? Look after yourselves, people. Hoita!